I'm just here telling you facts. No more secret, it's gotta be spoken. We out here living the lie. 3/5, but they say that we equal. So put your hands up in the sky. Represent for the chosen people. Melanin, yeah, we got a lot of it. I can see the fear in them when they look at it. I can understand it cause it's their nature. They don't fear God, but concerned about conclusions. They always wanna justify, define themselves not guilty. Pride so puffed up high, living in iniquity. People, Shema. We're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we the people that they took. I stay humble, I will not be shaken. My people is starting to wake up. Their minds scramble, need a shake up. They rewriting history. Whitewashing images, forgery. It's all a conspiracy. Crafty counsel from our enemies. They stole our identities. Done away with our heritage. Had us working in the fields. Broken, we can't get no settlements. So cruel, they took it too far. On the people that resemble the dog. Perpetually, they really hate us. But we quickly coming out of our haters. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel.
Shouts out to my people, miserable to straight hallelujahs. 400 years, better let it move ya. Messiah coming, better let it soothe ya. Whoever knew it would be great. On the slave ships, we were stowaways. Never made sense that we were throwaways, but it makes sense we hit fadeaways. We serving the ultimate power. The most high, get them hands high. His son in the ultimate hour. Same people eating that manna, but we gotta get that bread. Can't raise lines, carry no manners. It's the true knowledge in my head. Ironic, we grew up in wars. Project bros in the ghettos. Between us, there's always a war. Check out Kings and the Chronicles. Brothers overseas, same movie. Escape out of Israel. Worship and praise out of our cage. Dancing is all in our dreams.
Shema. We're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Israel, we're the people. Shema, Shema, Israel, we're the people.
Shalom, Facebook fam. Shalom from my people on YouTube. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to week 20 of the transformation of the so-called black man, of the so-called African American man. Tonight we want to give all praise and honor to Ahia by Hashem Yeshaya, Royal Walk. And for those of you not familiar with the Hebrew, that is all praise unto the Most High, in the name of Christ as well as the Holy Spirit. Once again, we'd like to welcome each and every one of you to week 20 of the transformation of the so-called black man, of the so-called African American man, who is from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel. Shalom, Akdi. Good seeing you on with us tonight. We thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedule. You could have been anywhere in the world, so due to the fact that you took time to join us tonight, we do not take your time for granted. We pray and hope that every one of you have had a blessed week. Pray that all is well with you and your families. Pray that The Most High is continuing to smile down upon you, and we pray and hope that those who are joining us tonight, are coming in with open hearts, coming in with an ear to hear, coming in with an open mind. You understand, because I truly believe that what the Most High has for us tonight, and I know y'all might say, well, he said it every Sabbath, but listen, tonight is one that we could have really started out with. We should have kind of started with back when we first started the awakening a couple years ago, and this is dealing with the relationships and the divide between the man and the woman. You understand, and that divide between the man and the woman. Once the man and the woman became an enemy in his household, when the man and the woman became an enemy in the community, once the man and the woman became an enemy in the church, this is where we saw the beginning of the end for many of our people, for many of our communities and our nation as a whole. The sun goes down tonight at 8:37. As soon as the sun goes down, we're going right into the Sabbath lesson. I got a few announcements that I want to give, and we have some questions left over from the Q&A this Tuesday that I want to bring out. But I am going to leave it open for the next 27 minutes once I get through with these announcements. If there is some questions that anyone would like to ask, you got for the next 27 minutes until the sun go down, we will be bringing those out. We will address those questions in a very few minutes. But I want to go into, first of all, I want to thank all those who joined us. Shalom Mimi, good seeing you on with us tonight. I want to address those who joined us for Transformation Tuesday, past Tuesday. Man, I'm telling you, it really was a wonderful time. I'm loving the way these Transformation Tuesdays are taking place, because what they're doing is they're invoking conversation, and in a lot of ways they have been a lot more effective than our actual Sabbath lessons, because the Sabbath lessons, when people come on for the Sabbath, they're ready to hear the truth. They locked and loaded. But the Transformation Tuesdays, I'm noticing that people are coming in and they're actually seeking information, and because they come seeking, this is when things are coming out. A lot of times, unfortunately, when people come in on the Sabbath, they're curious, they're just seeing it for the first time, they're hearing things or whatever the case may be, and a lot of times people will come in and come out. But the Transformation Tuesdays it's been holding people here. It's been keeping their attention, and hopefully a lot of those people that will be joining us on the Transformation Tuesdays will begin to transition into our Sabbath lessons. So we're going to make sure that for those who didn't get a chance to check those out, we will send those to you, and we do those every other Tuesday. But going into the announcement that I have, I'm really excited about the Most High opening up some doors. We are going to be looking to go into several cities in the next couple of months. So for those who are in areas who are beginning to come into the truth, or beginning to get an understanding of who they are desiring or seeking to know who they are, we want you to make sure that you contact us, because we would love to come to your city and bring this truth to you. And I want to put it out there that we do not charge to come to your city. We do not charge people to come to these Sabbath lessons or to these events. For those who are pastors or members of a church, yes, we will come to your assembly on a Sunday, if that need be. So I wanted to put that out there as well. We will come to your assembly on a Sunday, and we will come in, and we will be coming in with an open heart and open arms, and not with a judgment of spirit upon us at all. So I wanted to put that out there. We get conversation like that from time to time, but we are really looking forward to starting at the end of this month, and in August and September, we're going to try to hit our plan. Our vision is is to hit 2 or 3 cities a month. And so for those who just, you might be a member of a church and, you know what I'm saying? And, you just want to learn and you don't, your church is not ready, your family's not ready, and you just got a couple of people and you want us to come to your house, we'll come to your house. It's whatever the case may be. You got a seminar room and a library. I mean, it don't make no difference what it is that you're trying to do. We will meet you where you at, and we'll go to the community centers. We'll go to your hood. Whatever the case may be, that's the plan that we're trying to do. So I wanted to put that out there. Also, we do Soulful Sundays. And for those who tune in with us, we call Soulful Sundays because on Sundays we're reaching out to the souls of our Christian brothers and sisters, and for those who are in the world who are accustomed to dealing with the things of the Most High and the Bible on a Sunday. So we do those on the 1st and 5th Sundays of every month. Last Sunday, we started this conversation of the lesson that we're doing today, and it was dynamic. The first time us doing something like that, we're bringing people on the live and having intimate conversations, and then we waited to the end after we had the conversations, and we began to, go into the Word, and all praise out there. That's what we got to do. That's what Hamashiach did, and that's what we got to do, man. We got to go meet the people where they are, because if we don't go where they are, we can sit back and point fingers all day. But I'd rather go out and go to where they are and reach out and grab their hand. You feel me? Because that's what the Spirit did to me. I was in the Christian church when we was in the church, and the Holy Spirit came to us where we were. And so, hey, that's what we got to do. We got to do what we got to do. Stop pointing fingers, and we got to go get the people. There's just as much harvest in the Christian church there is in the streets. And so, and I ain't got to tell you about that because the bridge, you know what I'm saying? So you already know. But the Soulful Sundays that we're going to be doing this week, I wanted to put that out there about this week. It's called, and we're going to be dealing with, are you frustrated with the church? We're going to do this in the same format, similar format in which we did last week with the relationships between men and women. I'm reaching out to Christian brothers and sisters this week. I'm going to be reaching out tomorrow. And I want to invite a pastor, if they're willing to come on. I want to invite those who may be a member of a church or form of a member of a church or whatever the case may be. But I'm not inviting no Israelites on. I'm not fighting no, people that just hate the church and hate the Bible and Christ. Listen, that's not a time for you to attack. We're not coming to attack. I want to make sure that point is known. This is not going to be an attack on the church. We are doing this to be able to address the concerns and the needs that our people have. I was just in the barbershop today. Jay. And every time I walk in the barbershop, what comes up? The church. Mm-hmm. And they was in there talking about, real, well, what about this going on? And they were talking about the people down there at the border. And I asked them the question that I always ask. I said, can you tell me, first, the statement that made me, normally I don't even try to engage in the conversation. Mm-hmm. But somebody made a statement, well, we got to put them in there because they ain't been vaccinated. And then I had to say something. I said, brother, what vaccination got to do with this, man? Well, man, they're trying to protect us. And I asked the question, I said, well, brother, in the last 15, 20 years, what has America driven into our heads? Who are the ones who are attacking America, the terrorist attacks and all these things? Who is the one they talking about doing that? Well, it's the the Middle East people, the people that are the Muslim extremists. How many Muslim extremists are in those camps down there? He looked at me with a stale face. Okay, I got another question for you. If it ain't no Muslim extremists in there, why was those camps already ready? I said, listen, you go to church, right? Is your pastor preaching about that? No. Why would he preach about that? See, that's what I'm talking about. I said, y'all was just sitting in here complaining about what you're seeing on CNN about the sinners and the people, a man's getting shot for no reason, and this guy over here getting shot for no reason, and all of that. I said, you guys are watching the news every day, and the Bible got the answers, but you won't go into the Bible because your pastor's telling you that don't go into the Old Testament. So you're watching the news every night confused, not understanding what's really happening. You think these people are different than you. These are your people down there they're doing it to. I'm like, yeah, man, a lot of them do look just like us. I wonder why. You understand? So our Christian brothers and sisters are ignorant to a lot of things. They don't have the understanding because these things are not being talked about in their churches. You go in there hooping and holler, say yeah. These things ain't coming out. You go home confused, sick, broke, depressed. So we're going to meet our brothers and sisters where they are. And this Soulful Sundays, we're going to talk about, the question is, are you frustrated with the church? And we're going to allow people to come on and express their concerns. I'm hoping that I can get a pastor who's willing to come on and express some of the frustrations, because I have a lot of conversations with pastors and ministers who are upset, who are depressed, who feel hopeless about their community changing because they're giving everything that they have. And ultimately the goal is, once we get people to start expressing themselves, to go to the Bible and show the actual purpose of the church, what the church was created to do, and know that, and compare it and parallel to the church that they see today. And I'm just going to put it out there. The title of the discussion this Sunday is going to be Christianity is the problem, not the Christians. That's the title of the discussion that we're going to do today. Christianity this Sunday. Christianity is the problem, not the Christian. So that's what we're going to deal with. So if you have Christians that are in your family, that are in your city, on your friends list, please direct them to this conversation. Please give them my information, because I want to have this discussion directly with Christians. And I want to be able to show them through the Bible that what they're doing is the problem. It's not this. Okay? So that's going to be this Sunday at 10:30. So I'm really excited about that. And like I said, we have about 16 minutes before the sun go down. Once the sun go down, we're going to go right into the lesson. So if there's anyone on right now that has a particular question or anything that they would like to ask, as far as the Bible is concerned, I would like to, we can address those questions for the next 15 minutes. I'm going to get time, you guys, for your wheels to turn. I do have a couple of questions that were left over from Transformation Tuesday that we didn't get a chance to get to. So I know this thing is sort of on a delay. So if anyone has a question, put that in. We'll address that for the next 15 minutes, and then we're going to go right into the lesson when the sun go down. So until then, let me do this first question. All right. I think this one right here is perfect, because this is going to be right along the lines of what we're talking about tonight. The question was this: is it okay for me to live with someone that I am engaged to or in a committed relationship with, even though I know, hold on, let me read again. Is it okay for me to live with someone that I'm in a committed relationship with or engaged to be married? We believe that we will be married one day. We're just not in a place to be married, but we do want to live together as far as money is concerned. Would that be okay with God? Now, let's go into this. Let's go to I need that verse in Sirach, where it says, the Most High is giving no man a license to sin. Remember that when we went over that? Matter of fact, let's go James 4. I'm going to keep turning my wheels. And let's go to James 2. James 1, Salaki. And It's in Sirach. I'll find it right quick while we turn there. Let's go to James 1. I want to address that question. Is it okay, let's see, for brothers and sisters who are in the truth together, are they married? What she say? For brothers and sisters who are in the truth together, are they married? I need you to go in more detail with that. I'm not really sure what you're asking with that question. This person had a question saying, is it okay to be married to someone that you're in a committed relationship with or engaged if the ultimate goal is marriage? Is God okay with that? We're going to find, let's go to James 1. I'm going to be looking for that as we break this down real quick. James 1. And let's start there. Matter of fact, let's see. Yeah, let's go to James 1. And let's start at verse 12. Now, let's see what she said. Is the question being asked if they can live together but not sexually active? They actually didn't mention sexually active. I'm going to get to that part. The only thing they asked was it okay for them to be able to live together if they're in a committed relationship or engaged, and the ultimate goal is to be married. When they sent the question, she didn't express whether they were already sexually active. So I'm going to not assume that they are or not. I'm going to address it from that perspective, but I'm not going to push that on them because I don't want to, bear false witness. Maybe they may or may not be. And I'm glad you brought that out because that's very important. Part of the question. I said, stop advertising the truth.
She's asking that if you're, I guess she's saying if you're in a relationship with somebody who's also in the truth, are you considered married?
No. I'm talking to Sister Young. No. This is something that a lot of Israelite camps are putting out there to justify fornication. No. There has to be, as far as the traditions of the Most High is concerned, the man has to go unto the woman, to the woman's father or daughter, Slaki mother. Ask for permission, right? Okay? He has to meet the qualifications in which that father and that mother has set. You understand? Once that qualification is met, then there has to be a formal ceremony that takes place in the eyes of the Most High by the elders. That formal ceremony has not been taking place. You're not married in the eyes of the Most High. People have used those things to justify things because of one person thinking another thing, another person living another way. No. If a person is living together outside of that, then that's fornication. Period. I mean, that's just what it is. And what we have tried to use is we've tried to use, we Israel, so we ain't part of, we in captivity, we in captivity, we ain't part of this nation. Now we understand what America came up with the marriage license for. We know that was not part of Israel's culture. We know that the only reason they came up with that is try to stop Gentiles from marrying Israelites or black people, whatever you want to call it. We know they had a hidden agenda, money, and all those things involved in that. But at the same time, because we are in America, we are in captivity. The Most High Yeshaya says, render unto Caesar what is due Caesar, and give unto the Most High what is given unto the Most High. So because we have to render unto Caesar what is due Caesar, that marriage license is due unto Caesar. That proper ceremony is due unto Caesar. You understand? Because what happens is, if certain scenarios happen, You understand? And it's funny you say that because my queen was joking about that a week or so ago. And certain scenarios go down, right? And somebody dies or is sick, that person can't say nothing legally about the scenario. Mm-hmm. You understand? And you can't come in and say, well, you can't hold the sheet up. You know what we used to do back in Israel. You can't hold the sheet up at the courthouse and say, look, court judge, that Gentile judge gonna look at you like you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's all it meant for us back in the day. You hold the sheet up, hey, you good. You go in there that courthouse with that sheet up. You understand? You know what I'm saying? You go in the courthouse with that sheet up, they probably gonna, they're probably, put you in the spot. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, that's not, we have tried, there's some Israelite camps who teach that because people have certain agendas and, you hear that come out, a lot of these camps who want to have multiple wives and, all that mess. So, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you do it properly. And I say this right here. I didn't mean to go longer than that because I got like 8 minutes before the sun go down. I want to make sure that I address this other question. If anyone deserves to be treated as a queen, to be honored publicly in a manner of wedding, it is our Israelite sisters. They deserve that. You understand? Because, I at one point in time that I used to feel, and I'm not saying this is nothing wrong with going to the justice of the peace. I mean, if you with that, go do that. Go get it done. But I still say that even with that, our Israelite sisters for so long have been given second-class treatments. And if we're gonna come back to being a nation, then I think that's one of the things that we as a people need to make sure that we implement on a larger scale, is celebrating the unions of holy matrimony. We're gonna talk about that later. I'm glad these questions are coming out dealing with this because it's gonna be a great segue in what we're talking about tonight. Our queens need to be honored publicly. I'm not a social media guy. You ain't gonna see me posting everything, but listen, our queens need to be celebrated. They need to be put on public display. And that was one of the things that one of the customs Israel is because they had a whole week of honoring her. The whole village, the whole community brought gifts unto her. You understand? And so I think that's important. That union, that commitment, the agreement that we've been talking about, it needs to be celebrated more. So, so I'm putting this out here for ladies who may have some guy telling you, well, we slept together, we married. If that's the only thing that guy got for you, they're letting you know right there, hey, he ain't for you. All right. So I just wanted to put that out there. But back to what we was talking about. Read what my queen just brought in there, because I know she's dropping some gems right quick.
Women deserve honor. I had to learn that myself. I had to flee fornication, was single for over 2 years. The Most High to prepare me to be a wife to my king during all that time. All praise
to the Most High. And so, I think we just need to make sure we celebrate these things a lot more. But going back to the question, the original question was, is it okay to live with someone that you're in a committed relationship with or engaged when marriage is the ultimate goal? And the more I think about it right now, I don't really want to put a Bible verse on it. I want to put common sense on that. If you are already fornicating, let me take that word off. If you're already in a sexual committed relationship and you're living and you think by living together, you're only coming together for the means of saving money, then I think ultimately you're hustling backwards. What I think is, and I hope this person is watching because this question came in on Tuesday morning. I would really suggest that you take the time to get some actual counseling from an elder. Because one of the things, and one of the things that is tripping our people up is, and we talked about this before, is that people are trying to do things ahead of schedule. You want to trust the Most High in situations when it comes. You know, we live in a microwave generation where everybody wants everything now. And when I say we, I'm talking about myself here. We want things now, and we say, well, we can take shortcuts. Shortcuts are great when traveling. But if you don't know where you're going, a shortcut will leave you way off the path. You understand? It can leave you farther off the path than you were going the long way. So what I would say is this. I would take a step back and say, really look at yourself and really look at what your long-term agenda with this thing is. Now, for someone who is been not sexually active with that person the entire time, and they have about 6 months, 3 months left before they get married, what I would do is I would make financial sacrifices instead of coming together based on money. Because one of the things that I found out is, and we got 2 more minutes before the sun go down, is this. There's a lot of times when we make decisions based on money, it shows a lack of trust in the Most High. And then when we get ourselves in a situation too quickly, what it will ultimately do is it would expose other issues in the relationship that we hadn't addressed, which if we wasn't living together, we could have had time to work on those things and settle those things. So what I would say is every scenario is completely different, but I tell you like this right here. I put it like this. And I want to read that James 1:12 right quick. I want to say this right here. Everybody's situation is different. But what I do know for a fact is this. If that person is sent by the Most High, that person is worth the wait. And that's what I'll say to that. Let me get that James 1:12.
Blessed is the man that endureth temptation.
Blessed is the man that endureth temptation.
But when he is tried,
because when he is tried,
he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to them that love him.
So you're going to be in these situations where you're going to be tempted to do things fast. You're going to be tempted to do things, you know what I'm saying, on a shortcut manner. But if you don't, if you fight those temptations, then the crown that you're going to receive in the long run will be better than what you could have got in a speeded up fashion. So I would just say wait, endure the temptation, and never allow money to make spiritual decisions. You make the spiritual decisions based on the word of the Most High. You never make a spiritual decision based on money. Because if you make a spiritual decision based on money, you're going to find yourself losing a whole lot more than you ever could have got. Now, so I wanted to put that out there. The sun has went down. Shabbat Shalom, Yasharallah. Shabbat Shalom, Yasharallah. I want to thank each and every one of you guys joining us tonight for our Sabbath lesson. Tonight's lesson is entitled, Salaki D, Made Differently to Operate Together. We did not intend for that question to be addressed tonight. We did not intend for the Sister Young to answer that question tonight. It was a great segue, great transition into tonight's lesson. Tonight's lesson, once again, is entitled, Made Differently to Operate Together. We talk about tonight that men and women are made differently, but they're still designed to operate together. This is the reason why they're made differently, so that they can operate together. You understand? One of the things that we've been talking about on Sunday, and so for Sundays, was the fact that men and women are always looking for somebody who think like them and act like them. That's hustling backwards. I don't want my woman to think like me. I don't want my woman to see things exactly the way I see it. Because if I do that, then I'm only going to have one perspective in our marriage. I'm going to only have one vision, one insight when it comes to the marriage. I need her to bring in a new perspective. I need her to have, different understandings. And, I need her to see things from a perspective of a female. I don't want her thinking like me. That's foolishness that Steve Harvey came up with. That's not the Bible. Think like a man and act like a woman. What verse is that? Right? And I'm telling you right now, in this small amount of time that me and my queen have been together, all the things she saved me from thinking like a woman. If she was thinking like me, I'd be worse off than I am right now. You understand? So, and this is why I've been talking about the danger of these dating websites and social media, because everybody's talking about they want to be compatible and have all these things in common and all this. Listen, man, them things just got you checking boxes, man. Just checking boxes. You can't be caught up in checking boxes. So we're going to be talking about tonight of made differently to operate together. The Most High has given me some understanding on how the man is made, how the woman is made, and to show how if we operate properly in those different dynamics, we will be able to operate together in a better functional manner. And I want to make it clear tonight that we're not just talking about husband and wife scenarios, boyfriend and girlfriend scenarios. What the Most High desires tonight is for his sons and daughters to understand that you're going to need a man, you're going to need a woman in your life more than just for a husband, more than just for a wife. And I think that because the only reason men and women have been a large portion of our society is only dealing with those of the opposite sex for two reasons: sex and a potential relationship. And what they're doing by living that way is that they're cutting off resources. They're cutting off friendships. They're cutting out valuable assets that could be there for them in times and situations. We in this rebirth of our nation, the so-called black man, the so-called African-American man who's from the tribe of Judah, from the nation of Israel. We are in the birth of our nation. We need each other more than some sex, more than some Netflix and chill, more than for a wife, more than for a husband. We need each other. So we need to understand, yes, we're made differently, but we're made differently to operate together. We're going to talk about that tonight. So let's get started. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11. I need you to hold that and get Jeremiah 31. We're going to set a foundation here tonight. Good afternoon, good evening, Shalita. Good seeing you on with us tonight. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11. I need you to hold that and get Jeremiah 31. I'm going to set a foundation here showing the Most High intention for the home. And then we're going to show the evidence and how we have gotten to where we are today. 1 Corinthians 11 and get Jeremiah 31. 1 Corinthians 11, let's look at verse 3 there, D. Bring that out.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach.
Now, so let's start right there. Paul states right here that the head of every man is Hamashiach, right? So, one of the things that our ladies have failed in is that you, especially with a lot of our women who are involved in the church, you have been bringing men into your life who don't meet this qualification. A man who Hamashiach is not his head shouldn't have your phone number. He shouldn't be following you on Instagram. He shouldn't be a potential someone you're trying to date. You shouldn't be involved in him in business transactions. And as much as you can. And I'm not talking about. I know you got to work with people. You got to live in areas and communities. You understand? But I'm talking about any form of direct connection. Okay, I'm not just talking about a potential husband. I'm talking about when you walking down walking in the mall, right? And a guy asks you, say, "Excuse me, how you doing? My name is such and such. It's nice to meet you. I would love to get a chance to know you," right? Then what you should do is, before you even give him your number, you say, "Well, listen, look me up on social media," right? So when you add that person on Facebook and you go through his Facebook page, if you don't see any sign of the Hamashiach, delete and block. It's just start with that, okay? Now, I know that there's a whole lot of stuff, that people, fake the funk and, whatever the case may be. But I'm just trying to save you a whole bunch of unnecessary drama. If you see cussing in his posts, delete and block, okay? If you see naked women, delete and block. If you see World Star Hip Hop anyway, delete and block. Okay? He doesn't have your number. He doesn't have access to you. You do it that. That's your filter. We're losing social media for everything else, right? Use that as your filter. Okay? Delete and block. Move forward. I don't care how cute he is. I don't care what he was talking about. I don't care about if his shoe game was tight. I don't care if his big game was on fire. I don't care what it is. If the guy is not under Hamashiach, he does not deserve to know you. Period. Now, read that again. Dickie says what?
But I'll have you know, the head of every man is Hamashiach.
Uh-huh.
And the head of the woman is the man.
Let me go to my men. Right? If you are walking through the mall, if you are walking on your job, if you are going down your social media, you got an inbox, right? And this girl says, "How you doing? I want to get to know you." Right then and there, that's telling you right there that she is not a daughter of the Most High. Let me tell you why. Because a daughter of the Most High knows that a man who finds a good thing, a man who finds a wife, she will be found. So that woman who has no ulterior motive will never say, "Yo, I want to get to know you." She will allow you to approach her. You need to ask yourself, man, if she's approaching you, who else is she approaching? You understand? So I'm trying to start out with this whole thing because I want to show how men and women operate differently. And when you start seeing the traits of a female in a male and start seeing the male traits in a female, then we know something is off. Right? You understand? So if that woman, you get to talking to her, because sometimes she's going to be so beautiful, you're going to be blinded by that. So you got the first conversation. "Shalom, my sister, how you doing?" "Shalom," what that mean? Delete and block. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But what I'm saying is this, right? All of this whole thing of, I want to help people get to where they are. I want to, I believe that they got good potential in them. That's fine for ministry. But when you're dealing with friendships, and when you're dealing with potential wives and husbands, there's no grounds for negotiation. If this woman is not submitted to Christ and not submitted to the order of the home, nothing to talk about. Okay? So I just wanted to put that out there right out the gate. That's the order that the Most High set. And she in here talking about, well, I want to be a power couple, and and I got my I remember I was with this girl when I was about 2 months out from being ordained. This is when I was still in the Christian church. Right? We had been talking for like 4 months. And we was out on a date, and she said, "I'm gonna be honest with you. We get married, there gonna be plenty of days that I'm going to be laying in that bed and I'm going to roll over and tell you, babe, you're going to have to go to church without me. I said, what? She said, yeah, there's going to be plenty of days that you're going to be, getting up, because I know you're going to be a pastor. There's going to be plenty of days I'm going to roll over and say, you got to go without me. She don't even understand that was the day the cord got cut. We didn't have much conversation for 3 days later. It was over. You see what I'm saying? But we're keeping people around in our lives when we already see evidence that we out of order. Right? Now, let's go to Jeremiah 31. Let me show you the reason why I started here. Let's go to Jeremiah 31. Right? And let's look at verses 22 to 26. Now, I started in 1 Corinthians 11 to show you what the Most High's order is as far as the home is concerned, as far as his community is concerned. Right? Is that what we're seeing? Is that being taught in the church? Is that what you're seeing in predominantly the homes? Actually, what you're actually seeing is you're seeing every agenda to reroute that. Have anybody made notice on the commercials where back in the day, when you seen washing powder commercials, dish detergent commercials, cleaning products commercials, that you will only see women in them? Now, you're seeing men in them. Did you notice that? Where now you're seeing men at the park with the kids on play dates. Where you're seeing men in there washing clothes for the kids while mom's at work. Where they're promoting dishware and Tupperware and cleaning products to the men, because you're seeing men in there sweeping and mopping up the house while mom's at work, and they're making emphasis of saying, we got to get this done before mom comes home. That's an agenda. That's an agenda. Now, do I wash clothes? Yes. Do I clean up? Yes. But you know what happens every time when my queen cooks, and I'm in there trying to do stuff? Babe, go sit down. What are you doing? Because she can't even fathom it. You understand? That's not a sexist statement. That's the reality. You understand? Let me show you how this got this way. Jeremiah 31. Watch this. Verse 22. Watch this.
How long wilt thou go about, O backsliding daughter? For the Lord has...
Hold on. Dave, read that again.
How long wilt thou go about, O backsliding daughter? Mm-hmm. For the Lord has created a new thing in the earth.
Read that first part again, though, with the question he asked.
How long wilt thou go about, O backsliding daughter?
So the Most High started out. He says, how long? When he talks about the daughter, he's talking about Israel here. See, a lot of times you see Israelites trying to use that he's coming at women. No, he's not talking about women. He's talking about Zion, that backsliding daughter of his. How long will you go a backsliding? He asked that question first, and then watch this. Go ahead.
For the Lord has created a new thing.
For the Lord has created a new thing
in the earth.
Uh-huh.
A woman shall compass a man.
He says what?
A woman shall compass a man.
So the reason, ladies and gentlemen, that we are seeing this in Israel, the reason why women are in more of a power and more of authority than the men, is not because this advancement or the modern way that they're trying to promote it on American TV.
Progressive.
Oh yeah, being progressive. Nah, it's because of sin. This is why the women are running the households now. This is why the women are running the churches now. This is why women are the one leading on the jobs, leading in the communities. Why you have more of our women with college educations and more of our men in prison. It's not progression, it's digression. You understand? That's the new thing in the earth now. where a woman has complete charge over everything that's going on, and men have to sit around like this, coming to the women with it, everything. I remember years ago, and I ain't gonna put it out here where I was at and who I was dating. I was dating this girl. She was a minister at this church, right? And we had been dating for a while, and she was in the process of moving back to her hometown, and she was about to start going to this church, right? And she kept insisting to me, and inferring that she wanted me to come back to the hometown and be a part of that church with her. And I was like, the Most High is leading me to start my own ministry. This is back in the day, before I started Better Day. But I visited the church. And I walked in, and up on the platform of the pulpit, I seen nothing but women, right? And then I seen men over in a corner somewhere. They were talking about, those are the deacons. And I sat there, and the church was about like 65 to 70% women. And the men were just sitting over there, like they was looking like they was beat up and broke down. And every woman had a mic. And I was looking, I was like, if you think that I'm gonna not start my ministry and come for this, you must have lost every ounce of brain function for real. I was in there like, I was amazed. I had never seen anything like that in my life. And because these things has gotten this way, we're asking ourselves, why? Read it again. Read that last part of that verse again.
A woman shall compass a man.
A woman shall compass a man. Watch this, verse 23.
Thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, as yet they shall use this speech in the land of Judah and the cities thereof, when I shall bring again their captivity.
So notice, the Most High said that this will be happening during the time for Israel when he begins to bring them back from their captivities. Y'all see that? So he wasn't talking about this was going to be going on right now in Israel. No, he said this will happen to Israel as a result of sin and the fall of their men in captivity. Where the man would have no say-so, no voice, no authority at all. And the Gentiles will be promoting it through feminism, will be promoting it through what they call women's rights and women empowerment. When really, ladies, what the Gentiles in the world call women empowerment is really destroying your power. Because if you don't have the black man standing with you, you are powerless when the jackboots come. And they're coming. You understand? So, who has continually and perpetually invoked this whole man and women against each other? It's the Gentiles. Because they know that as long as the so-called black man and the so-called African-American woman is standing together, we're unstoppable. And this awakening that the Most High is doing, if the black man and the so-called black woman is together, they're going to raise up Israelite children that's going to be keeping the law, keeping the statutes, keeping commandments, saying no to the world, and the nation will rise. But as long as you're sitting back looking at the woman, your greatest asset is an enemy, and you're sitting back on the other side looking at the man as your enemy, the real enemy will be destroying us both. You understand? Because all we talking about is what he did and what she said. And we all need to be talking about what he said. You understand? Made differently to operate together. Watch this. That's all I wanted to bring out there. I don't want to get into that because I'll be going all night in that. So let's go into it now. Let's go to Genesis 1. Let's go from the beginning. We got to go to the beginning. and show how this thing was started in the very beginning so that we can have an understanding of how we need to go forward. We talk about tonight, made differently to operate together. We're not enemies, ladies. We're not enemies, men. Brothers and sisters, we need to come back together. And I'm talking about standing on the Most High's word. This is the only way we're going to be able to get our nation back. This is the only way we're going to be able to get our communities back. Ain't no legislation, and ain't no protesting. We tried all of that. How's it worked? Genesis 1. And let's look at familiar scriptures here, but I want to show you something here. Genesis 1, verse 26 to 28.
And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea,
Right?
over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Right?
So God created man in his own image.
Right?
In the image of God created he him,
Right?
male and female.
Who?
Male and female.
Who?
Male and female created he them.
Now, so notice that the Most High makes the point of saying here that male and female created he them. So there ain't no separation here. I want to prove that with what they call the New Testament scripture. Let's go to 1 Peter 3 and 7. Because I need the understanding right out the gate is this. Yes, the man has been made as the head. But if you don't realize that that woman is equal to you in the eyes of the Most High, you're done. And I'm noticing a lot. You know, I saw it in the church when I was in the church back in the day, but it wasn't to the point of what I'm seeing with these Israelite camps. A lot of these Israelite groups and churches, where the woman is in many cases taking equal role, equal level, equal status to the child. And that's madness. That's madness. So I want to make sure that this is clear here of what the Most High's will is for this. Yes, we're made differently to operate together, but if you don't look at that woman properly, you're finished. And I want to make sure I put that in order. 1 Peter 3 and 7. Watch this.
Likewise, ye husbands.
Likewise, ye husbands.
Dwell with them according to knowledge.
He said what?
Dwell with them according to knowledge.
According to what?
According to knowledge.
Notice that the Most High says here that husbands must dwell with the woman according to knowledge. What knowledge? The knowledge of the Most High. But men that's been walking around the earth screaming, I'm the head, they ain't been living by what the Most High said. They don't even know what the Most High said. The only reason they know that the Most High said that the man was the head just because somebody told them. Every time a man tells me that I don't know the Bible, I always ask them, show me that in the Bible. And they can never do it. So I always ask them, how do you know you're the head? If you can't show me it, you don't know it. You just only going by what some man done told you. So you can stick out your chest. You ain't following none of the rest of the Bible. Why you want to follow that? And then they be quiet. Right? And if you ain't following the rest of the Bible, then you don't need to be talking about what man is the head. Because Christ is your head. Have you submitted to him? That's why I ask him every time. Well, no, real, see, you bringing in the, I'm talking about it, real. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the totality of the Bible, not a verse. So read that again. Dickie says what?
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
According to knowledge.
Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
He said what?
Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
Matter of fact, D, read that again and then get Proverbs 1 and 7. I need to show that. Watch this. Watch this right here. Watch this.
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
He said, dwell with them according to knowledge. Watch this. Proverbs 1 and 7.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
So the Most High says that the fear of the Most High is the beginning of all knowledge. So men, if you're not operating in reverence and honor to the Most High, you know nothing. You must first get that figured out before you can actually be ahead of something. You understand? What man has become head of a corporation without training? What man has become head of a division in a business without training? Without some type of knowledge. Therefore, what we're going to talk about tonight is the marriage was created by the Most High. Therefore, you cannot be the head of that institution of marriage without the knowledge. You understand? Watch this. Read it again. Proverbs 1:7.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of all knowledge.
But fools despise wisdom and instruction.
But fools despise wisdom and instruction. So I just wanted to bring that out. Now go back to 1 Peter 3:7, and let me show you exactly what I wanted to, so I can bring Genesis 1:27 all together. Go ahead, read that again.
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
According to knowledge,
giving honor unto the wife.
Giving honor unto the wife.
As unto the weaker vessel.
When they say she's the weaker vessel, ladies and gentlemen, that's not talking about you weak. That means she just doesn't have the same physical strength as you. But I tell you one thing that women have that we don't have, if they have more emotional strength than we is, you get a sick man and you get a sick woman. Man gets sick, we done. I'm finished. All right, listen, I'm done. Women be sick all the time. Go to work, take care of the kids, cook the food, clean the house up, sick. Man sick, he's done. Okay? You let the man be hurting, a little bit of pain, I'm done. Finished. So this is not talking about weak as in, they weaker than you. No, this is talking about weak as a physical strength, but you still give honor to her. Go ahead.
As being heirs together.
Being what?
Heirs together.
Being heirs together.
Of the grace of life.
Of the grace of life.
That your prayers be not hindered.
That your prayers be not hindered. Man, the reason why a lot of the stuff going on in your house, the reason why a lot of the financial problems that you're having, the reason why a lot of the trouble and turmoil that you're having, is because you're not honoring her as an equal heir. And the Most High said, if you do that, your prayers will be hindered. You understand? So, just wanted to put that out there. Now let's go back to Genesis 1 and read 27 again. Watch this.
So God created man in his own image.
Mm-hmm.
In the image of God created he him.
Right.
Male and female.
Male and female.
Created he them.
Right. Verse 28.
And God blessed them.
Notice as he said, and God blessed them. That's why I wanted to show you 1 Peter 3:7. Because he blessed them. And what did he tell them?
And God said unto them, be fruitful.
Be fruitful.
And multiply.
And multiply.
And replenish the earth.
Right.
And subdue it.
Mm-hmm.
And have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air,
mm-hmm.
and over everything that moveth upon the earth.
Right. Now, I wanted to show that because in order for us to understand this going forward, we had to have the foundation set right out the gate that man and woman is equal in the eyes of the Most High. And if man look at women less or in any other way of inferiority, you're done. Okay? So a lot of times we've been seeing that women's emotions and women's feelings and women's sensitivity are being used against them. No, I'm going to show that tonight. That's about how they're made differently to operate together. Now, let's go to chapter 2 and let's look at verses 7 through 9.
And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living soul. Now,
Genesis 2, ladies and gentlemen, is basically a recapping, a breakdown of what happened in Genesis 1. I've seen some people talk about this was a whole nother creation. Like, it's madness. You won't believe. So I wanted to put that out here just in case someone had heard that before. You know, that's crazy, but that's, you know, people say that. But this is not a separate creation. This is a breakdown of what you see happen in Genesis 1, right? And so when man was created, you got to understand that in that sixth day, at the end of that sixth day, when man was created in the image of the Most High, he was made in a spiritual form. The Most High Spirit. So at the end of the sixth day, when he was created, he was not made in the image. He was not made as a fleshly body at that time, right? And notice here, you're noticing that the woman is not yet here yet. This is why I want to show you. There's some very key things that you need to see here. What the man was doing prior to the woman created and what was her purpose. We talk about made differently to operate together. Verse 8.
And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden.
Mm-hmm.
And there he put the man.
He put who in there?
And there he put the man whom he had formed.
Notice he didn't say he didn't put them. He put the man in there. Woman ain't created yet. This is very important that you understand that. We always bring out in here that everything was done. The sun, the stars, the moons, the heavens, and everything. The Most High created everything on this earth before he created man. Which lets man know man was supposed to rely on the Most High for everything. Because everything was already given before he came. But notice here that the man was created. The garden was created. And then the man was put in it. You don't see woman yet. Watch this. This is very important. Verse 9.
And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree in pleasant to the sight, that is pleasant to the sight and good for food.
Right.
The tree of life also in the midst of garden, and the tree of knowledge and good and evil.
Notice, woman's still not there yet. All these instructions is given to who? The man. Watch this. Now, for a second time, let's go down to verse 15.
And the Lord God took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to dress it.
To do what?
To dress it and to keep it.
Notice, still no woman. The works, the commandments and directions was given to the man to carry these things out. Still no woman. Watch this. Go ahead.
And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest eat freely. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die.
He said what?
For in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. And the Lord God said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him and help me.
I'm going to make him a what?
I will make him and help me for him.
Notice. Now, after all these things and the directions and the commandments, now the Most High says, okay, you're ready. You're ready. But it's not good for man to be alone. Now you're ready. Look at what he does. Verse 19.
And out of the ground the Lord had formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helpmeet for him.
Notice now. You see what the Most High is doing here? He made the man, he told him, he said, listen, you need some things on this earth. So what the first thing he did was start making the animals. Because those animals was going to provide different functions to support the man. Remember, in Genesis 1, he gave him dominion of all of these things. Genesis 2 is showing you how these breakdowns happen. And he told him, you have dominion over these things because these things will be used for his benefit. Right? But then after this, he's still saying, I don't see a helpmeet for you. Woman still not there. All of this authority, all of this responsibility was given to the man. Woman not there. And he calls her what? And help me. Go ahead. Watch this.
And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam.
Right.
And he slept, and he took one of his ribs.
He did what?
He took one of his ribs.
Now, notice, ladies and gentlemen, that oftentimes in the world, women are going throughout this life searching for a man to complete them. Men are going throughout this life feeling like they got everything together and they don't need no woman for nothing, just to look at and for physical, and emotional pleasure. But we see here that in order for the woman to be created, the man had to lose something. Made differently to operate together. So what am I saying here? The man is the one who needs to be made complete, not the woman. Men, you will never be who you're called to be. You will never reach your full potential. You will never be able to accomplish the true purpose and destiny over your life until the Most High brings you until the rib that you lost. And that's just the way it goes. I'm not talking about this success that you see in the world. I'm not talking about this cash and banks. And I'm not talking about all these cars and trips and celebrity status. That has nothing to do with the Most High. I'm talking about your God-given purpose, your God-given destiny, the full potential in which your life was made. You will never accomplish that. You will never be the full person that you're supposed to be until you find your rib. But you will never find that rib until you do the works in which was laid to your hand, given by the Most High. Made differently to operate together. Watch this. Go ahead, Deep.
And he took one of his ribs.
He took one of his ribs.
And closed up the flesh instead thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And the rib which the Lord had taken from man made he a woman.
He did what?
And the rib which the Lord had taken from man made he a woman.
Right.
And brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones,
Mm-hmm.
and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of
She
man.
was taken out of where?
Because she was taken out of man.
Therefore, she was taken out of man, made differently to operate together. You see that? This is very important. If we don't know how this thing got started, this is how everything has got off course. Watch this. Verse 24.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother,
Right.
and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
Now notice here, ladies and gentlemen, something that the Most High showed me this week that I had never thought of before. Did Adam have a father and a mother? So what was the Most High talking about here? The Most High was not talking about Adam. He was talking about what it was supposed to be going forth. This was the design of the family. A man must leave his mother and father. And in the so-called black community, the so-called African American community, that is not what we are seeing. This is why everything is off. Going forth in the rebuilding and the rebirth of our nation, we must get this order back. Without this order, without this original foundation and birthing, everything is out of order. That is no slack to single moms. There's no slack to people who was adopted. There's no slack to people who came from single dads or raised by your grandparents. All praise to the Most High. I'm talking about the true order of the Most High. And if we're going to get back to the trueness of our nation, pleasing in the sight of the Most High, this is what we must get back to. The woman was given to bring life and to bring this vision that the Most High set for the man going forward. Not for you to go off and do your own thing and you come together and y'all combine a thing. No. They give him Proverbs 29 and 18. Watch this. Proverbs 29 and 18.
Where there is no vision.
Where there is no vision,
the people perish.
The people perish. Is that not what happened to our people? No vision. No plan. No blueprint. Everybody just straying from one person to the next, trying to figure it out. The Most High didn't create Eve and Joy and Susan and Mary and let Adam go from this corner of the garden to that corner of the garden and fill it out and see what's there. Nah, that's not what he did. And that was never how it's supposed to be. But this is what it has become. And this is how we became enemies. When we lost sight of what the Most High originally set for us to be. Read the rest of that.
Where there is no vision, the people perish.
But
he that keepeth the law.
But he that keepeth what?
He that keepeth the law, happy is he.
Happy is he. Notice it always comes back to the Most High's law. That our Christian brothers and sisters are fighting. That Israelites who are just coming in fighting. That the world is fighting. That the Kemet is fighting. That the Buddhists is fighting. That the Seventh-day Adventists is fighting. The Baptists is fighting. Everybody is fighting it. No vision, no law. People perish. Watch this. Now, let's go back to Genesis. Okay? Now, when you read here for a second time, I'm not going to break down this whole Genesis 1 through 19. Okay? But I wanted to make mention of the original command that the man was given to cultivate the Most High creation to provide for him and Eve. That by the time that Eve came on the scene, everything was already created for Eve. Now, I know that this goes against the feminists and the Me Too movement and all of this agenda that the world is placing in the heads of our ladies and our women. But this is a true fact. Our women were never, ever, ever, ever supposed to be working for anything. You were never supposed to be working to provide for yourself. You was never supposed to be working to handle, to feed yourself, to clothe yourself, to provide for security for yourself. All of those things was already supposed to be taken care of you. Am I right, D?
Sure.
Go break that down, what you was talking about earlier.
If you look in the book of Jubilees, I won't get too deep in it because sometimes it can be very confusing when you're reading this book.
Mm-hmm.
But in the chapter 3, starting around verse 15, it says, in the first week of the first Jubilee, Adam and his wife were in the Garden of Eden for 7 years, tilling and keeping it. And we gave him work, and we instructed him to do everything that is suitable for tillage.
Mm-hmm.
And he tilled the garden.
Who did it?
And he tilled the garden,
Mm-hmm.
and was naked and knew it not, and was not ashamed. He protected the garden from the birds and the beasts of the cattle, and gathered its fruit and ate, and put aside the residue for himself and for his wife.
And for who?
And for his wife.
So notice that the original way that everything was set up is that everything that the woman was supposed to need was supposed to be provided for the men, provided by the men in her life. Is that what we're seeing today? Even when you go to Numbers, the 38th chapter, you read that in your own time, you will see that a woman can never be held financially for any vow that she will make unto the priest. Her father, when she was in her father's house, she had to provide, her father had to approve of a vow. If he said no, that woman wasn't held responsible for it. When she left her father's house and went into her husband's house, if she made a vow to the priest and the man said no, she couldn't be held accountable for it. And guess what? If they did approve it, and she was supposed, and she didn't meet that vow, guess who was responsible? The father, or the mother, or the husband. You understand? Mm-hmm. So this was never was supposed to be what you are seeing today, of women providing for men. I'm going to prove that. This is one of the reasons that you're seeing what we're seeing today. Everybody talking about women. Our women are mean and they're evil and they're standoffish and they're always upset. Let me show you how that happened, because we broke the order of what the Most High gave. Let's go to Sirach 25, verse 22. Watch this. Sirach 25, verse 22. Watch this. Shalom, my Eric. Good seeing you on with us tonight. Watch this. So I'm going to show you here, once that order of what the Most High originally set for the man providing for the woman got off, this is how our women got to the point of where they are today. Sirach 25. And let's look at verse 22 to 23. Let me show you this.
A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach.
Read that again.
A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach.
You see that? So the reason, ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing all these women out here with frowns on their face all the time and mad all the time, brother, you want to know why the woman that you're dating right now got an attitude all the time? Because she has been taught the whole time she's maintaining the men in her life, and she was never designed to do that. Women, this is no slight to you. Please receive this in the spirit. We know you are hard workers. We know you've been providing for your children, but that was never the design of the Most High. And all of these men out here be getting taken care of, these women sitting around taking care of these men and buying them PlayStation, buying them clothes, buying them loud, buying them alcohol, going to work, working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, providing for the kids, while the man sit home and chill. Read it again.
A woman, if she maintain her husband.
A woman, when she maintains her husband,
is full of anger.
Is full of anger, impudence,
and much reproach.
So by the time she's been taking care of this man and that man and the next man, when you meet her, you can't understand why she act that way. This is why. You don't know why she don't trust you. This is why. You don't know why she standoffish and won't submit to you. This is why. Made differently to operate together. And you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that we are not like the Gentiles. The Most High never wanted us to be operating like this. And I'm going to show you in a minute how when we walked into sin, this is why we start taking on the ways of the Gentiles, and our lives and our families and our communities crumbled as a result of it. Watch this. Now, so when you go to Genesis 3, 1 through 19, you notice that this is where Eve, did what she did, and Adam was cursed to have to work now. So now, when he was created, everything was there for him. Only thing he had to do was take care of it. Now, he has entered into the world outside of the garden, outside of the presence of the Most High. And now, everything that he has is now going to be on his own dime, on his own strength. The woman now has been engulfed with emotions, have been engulfed with sorrows, have been engulfed with childbirth and with the monthlies and all of these things that prior to that she didn't have to deal with. You understand? And when she was standing in the garden, she was standing face to face. Most High said as a result, now you have to stand beside. See that? But now, outside of the protection and full engulfment of the Most High, now they're subject to sin. And let me show you how the demise took place based on the way we were made different. Let's go to 1 John 2. I need you to hold that and get James, the 4th chapter. I need y'all to walk with me. I want you to take your time and walk with me here because I have to show you how, I just showed you, for those who are just coming on, you got to go back and watch the beginning, how the man and the woman was made and how they was made differently and what their purpose was in them being made differently. But I'm going to show you here, as a result, how sin came in and has produced everything what we see today. And if we don't know how it happened, what was the demise of the family, what the demise of the relationship between the man and the woman, we won't know how to fix it. So you got to walk with me here. Let's go 1 John 2. I need you to hold that and get James, the 4th chapter. Now remember, as I said, before I bring this out, because I need you to see what I'm talking about here. The majority of the people right now, when you start talking to people, when you start talking to people in our communities, I'm not dealing with the Gentiles tonight. I'm dealing with our nation, our people. The so-called black men, the so-called African American men, the so-called Puerto Rican, the so-called Mexican, the so-called Native American, the so-called Cuban, the so-called Jamaican, so-called Latinos, the so-called people of West and South Africa, people of Colombia, Venezuela, Brazil. I'm dealing with our people tonight. I'm going to show you how the more we begin to take on everything of the Gentiles, we made these things a part of our lives and how we are the ones being destroyed as a result of it. You understand? So when you talk to our people, the majority of our people, whether they go to church or not, the things that they do in their lives are completely outside of the things of the Most High. And they don't even see anything wrong with it. That's the real sadness of it, is that they actually don't even see anything wrong with it. Our Christian brothers and sisters pull the grace card. Our people in the world pull, you can't judge me. So it's like nobody sees the issues with the things that they're doing because everybody's doing it. It's the norm. But I always like to remind people, in the days of Noah, right, everything was normal too until it started raining. Right? But I don't want to get off on that. Let's go to 1 John 2. I need you to hold that and get James, the 4th chapter. Let's look at this right here. James, 1 John 2, and let's look at verse 15. Watch this.
Love not the world.
Love not the world.
Neither the things that are in the world.
Neither the things that are in the world.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
I'm very, very confused, especially when I talk to my Christian brothers and sisters. I expect this from the people in the world. But I'm very, very confused when I talk to with my Christian brothers and sisters. And I say to them, how is it that you can be in church on Sunday and amen when the Most High says that fornication is wrong? Amen when you say homosexuality is wrong. Amen when you say, stealing and gossiping and all these things is wrong. But the majority of your entertainment, your music, what you look at on social media, your every one of your television shows, the things you watch on Netflix, Hulu, everything that you're consuming that you consider entertainment is full of those things. How can you say I love the Most High, but also love the things that He hates? I'm confused with that. I'm very, very confused with that. And the majority, especially when it comes to the TV shows. Look at what the have and have nots promote. I don't understand how anyone with the Holy Spirit can make it through a show. Matter of fact, D, let me get that right quick. Let me get that Wisdom of Solomon 1. Let me get that Wisdom of Solomon 1. This is one of the problems that we're seeing with the people, because the Most High gone, man. He ain't around with, he ain't sitting around for that junk. He ain't dealing with that. Watch this. Wisdom of Solomon. Give me that verses 4 through 6. Watch this.
For into a malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter.
For a malicious soul, the wisdom of the Most High will not enter. If your thoughts are wicked, if your perception of the world is wicked and outside of the Most High, you will never get his wisdom. You will never gain his understanding. You will never have his presence in your life. Go ahead.
Nor dwell in the body that is subject to sin.
He will not be there. The stuff that you're seeing going on in these churches, the Most High is not there. You can tell yourself all you want to. The Spirit of the Lord was here today. Yeah, it was the Spirit there, but what on the Most High? Verse 5.
For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit.
Read that again.
For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit.
It will flee deceit.
And remove from the thoughts that are without understanding.
It will not, it's not going to be around. I'm telling you. I don't know what we're telling ourselves, man. But the Most High ain't sitting around, ain't going to be around nobody that's sitting around hanging out there. You can't pull grace into that. Go ahead.
It will not abide when unrighteousness cometh in.
It will not abide when unrighteousness come in. I just wanted to put that out there, because I'm telling you, man, listen, if we're gonna tear down this wall that are making us enemies against each other, we must have to first start with the Most High. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back. Let's read that again. 1 John 2 and 15.
Love not the world.
Love not the world.
Neither the things that are in the world.
Right.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
If you love the world and you support the things of the world, the Most High said, my love is not in you. That's not Leviathan judging you. That's not deep, ridiculing you. That's the Bible. If you enjoy the things of the world, if you appreciate the things of the world, you don't have the love of the Most High in your heart. You don't. Verse 16.
For all that is in the world.
For all that is in the world.
Lust of the flesh.
Lust of the flesh.
Lust of the eye.
Lust of the eye.
And the pride of life.
And the pride of life. The same exact things that caused Eve to fall. Or what?
Is not of the Father.
Is not the Most High.
But is of the world.
Is of the who?
Of the world.
But is of the world. So this is the problem. When you're loving the way the world interacts, when you love the way that the world do things, when you love the friendships and the sexual escapades of the world, the flaunting, the flirting, the way that the world says is a good time, the way you can carry out and walk around naked and doing all these type of things and involved in these drugs and these clubs and all these things. If you're involved in that, then that means the Most High ain't involved in you. Because these things are not of the Most High. So, therefore, when you're involved in those things, you will never see that man in the manner that you're supposed to. You will never see that woman in the manner that you're supposed to. Why? Verse 17.
And the world passeth away in the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
They abide how long?
Abideth forever.
You see that? Now let's go to James 4 and 4. So I wanted to show you this. When Adam and Eve came out of that garden and was into the world, sin came in. And this is how no longer were they operating in the manner that they were supposed to be. Even now, they're different. They was made different in the beginning to operate together, but now they're just different. And because sin is entering, sin is ruling and controlling everything. And this is what happens. James 4:4.
Ye adulterers and adulteress.
Now, so when you see that right there, that's going to make people say to themselves, like, man, hold up now. I ain't cheating on my husband. I ain't cheating on my wife. No. When you do things outside of the will of the Most High, when you do things outside of his law, the Most High considers you an adulterer because you're married to him. So that's why he starts out by saying what?
Ye adulterers and adulteress.
Right?
Know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God?
So when you have a friend, when you are a friend and friendly and accepting to the things of the world, that separates you from the Most High. And as a result of the separation, what happens?
Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world
Become what?
is the enemy of God.
You become an enemy of the Most High. Do you want to be an enemy of the Most High? So once you took on the things of the world, you became an enemy of the Most High, and now you see his creation as an enemy. You see that? Now, as a result, let's go to Romans, the 1st chapter. I need you to hold that and get Matthew 19. Now, as a result of us becoming enemies to the Most High, now our whole thought process, our whole way of seeing things, our perception and our perspective is flawed. Now we're seeing things completely opposite of the way we're supposed to be seeing them. And the two main enemies of man and woman operating properly has entered into our lives. What are those two main things that entered into our lives? Sexual immorality and divorce. Now, when my brother, when my sister will look at them each other as only sexual objects, what that has done now is they've reduced them to only something that will bring pleasure to me. I have no longer seen you as a equal partner in this world. If you can bring pleasure, thumbs up. If you cannot, no need for me to treat you in any manner of civility or with a courteous mind. But if I do bring you into my life, once I've got out of you what I want, once you have served your purpose, or we're not seeing eye to eye, I can just send you away. Thus, man and woman became enemies. No sexual immorality and no problem, no opportunity of divorce. Men and women are forced to deal with each other on a realistic perspective. But once those things came a part of the everyday life, this is what made us to be enemies. I'm going to show you how these things became. Watch this. Romans 1, and let's start there at verse 20. Watch this.
For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen.
Read that again.
For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so they are without excuse.
Listen, there is the Most High, the way he made this world to operate, the way he made animals to operate, the way the heavens and the sun rise and the rain come and all these things. Number one, it proved that there had to be someone in control of all of this. So the whole idea of atheism is foolishness. Okay? There's no excuse for you to say I don't believe in God. It's foolishness. Get it out of here. Okay? The way you see a male dog and dealing with female dogs show you that there was never supposed to be male on male and female to female. When the last time you ever seen a female shark say, you know, I want to be a male shark. Okay. When you ever seen a male deer say, no, I want to be a female deer. Okay. Whenever you ever seen a female horse say, you know what, I think I was born a male. Okay. So that means the invisible things that you don't have to have a blueprint. You can just, it's just clear. Everything how it operates on a day-to-day basis in the world shows you that there is no excuse for the way we're acting. But I'm going to show you how we got there. Verse 21, watch this.
Because that when they knew God,
When they knew the Most High,
they glorified him not as God.
but see, that's what happened. That's what happened. Because what happened is now, you have this whole thing of now, listen, I'm my own guy. I can do me. This is about me. You know? I have a right to live my life. Who gave you life? I have a right to do with my body what I want. Who gave you that body? You understand? Listen, do you realize that you can't even sin without the Most High? I remember when the Most High showed me that. Like, I was complaining about, being celibate. And he told me, he said, do you remember back when your lungs was messed up? Could you even sin then? Who healed your lungs? I was like, I just shut up. Hey. Listen, you can't even sin without the Most High. None less live. A sick person can have all the money in the world and won't do nothing but lay in a bed. You can't fornicate without strength. You can't kill nobody without strength. You can't lie to people without a tongue. You can't con people and manipulate people without a functioning brain. You need the Most High. We need the Most High for everything. But when sin took over, then now we no longer are understanding and honoring the Most High for what he's doing for us. Now it's more so about us carrying out our own desires and own needs and own fleshly wants and satisfaction. You understand? So that's what's going on. We lost sight of that. Read that again, Deacon. Says what?
Because that when they knew God,
When they knew the Most High,
they glorified him not as God.
mm-hmm.
Neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations. And foolish heart was darkened.
And their foolish heart became darkened. This is what happened. Once Adam and Eve got out of the presence of the Most High and got further and further and further from that garden, and as generation after generation came, it's the same thing that happened when the Most High destroyed the earth with flood. Noah and his sons got out of that ark, and they were doing fine. The further they got away from that ark, the further they got away from the Most High. You understand? Watch this. Go ahead.
Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
Read that again.
Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
Now, D, go to 1 Corinthians 3 and give them 18 through 20. Watch this. He says, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. How many of these times you've been involved and you see these little conscious conversations? And you see these men and these women sitting at the table. They want to talk about, yeah, you know what I'm saying, the woman is God, and you know what I'm saying, and the Mother Earth, and you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, the black man is God, you know what I'm saying, this, that. Foolishness. Right? Well, the woman is really the one supposed to be doing everything because she is the one who gives life, and it's her body, and she has a right to control whether she wants to do with her own life. If she wants to kill her body, she wants to kill the baby, you know, hey, she has the right. And her name is Dr. Such and Such that said it, right? How many degrees did you need to come up with that madness? Watch this. 1 Corinthians 3 and 18.
Let no man deceive himself.
Let no man deceive himself.
If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool that he may be wise.
You must first, when you're dealing with the Most High, you must come to the understanding that I don't know nothing. You have to just bow down to his greatness and his just glory. I don't know nothing. Right? Because what?
For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God.
Because the wisdom of this world is foolishness to the Most High. He don't want to hear none of it. And this is the reason why you see our people, especially our people today. I'm just dealing with us today. Every time someone comes with the Bible open and saying, listen, this is what the Most High said. This is what Yeshua said. Everybody want to say, well, let's take the Bible off the table. You know why? Because they know this Bible will point out the wickedness of who they are. The wisdom of this world is foolishness to the Most High. You don't need to bring no rationales, no understanding, no breakdown, no way of nothing to what the Most High said that we're supposed to be doing. You say. And if we as men and women of the Most High, as the children of Israel, are going to operate together, you cannot bring anything from the world into the equation. Or we will be destroyed. We will perish. Back to Romans 1. Read that verse 22 again.
Professing themselves to be wise,
right?
They became fools.
And what happened?
And changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things.
So what happened is the Most High, as a result of us losing this true relationship with the Most High, we made man God with Nimrod after the flood. And then once the Tower of Babel happened and we went back, the Gentiles went and got spread in all these nations, then we started making idols out of different animals and different, you got the two calves that the Israel was worshiping. You got the rabbit with the Ishtar and all these things. You got the egg. You got all of these things. And started making these things more than they were. All of these ideologies replaced the Most High in our people's lives. Watch this. Verse 24.
Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts.
Through the lust of what?
Their own hearts.
Right.
To dishonor their own bodies between themselves.
Read that last part again. He says he gave them what to what?
To dishonor their own bodies.
To dishonor their own bodies.
Between themselves.
Between themselves. Listen. It wasn't until, ladies and gentlemen, that, like I said before, when man looked at woman as only as a sexual object, and women began to look at men in the same manner, and that's all they meant to them, that's when everything was done. Now it's about anything. And it eradicated and destroyed and polluted the original intent for the man and the woman relationship. Watch this, verse 25.
Who changed the truth of God?
Who changed the truth of the Most High
into a lie?
Into a lie.
And worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen.
You see that? Now man became God. Now a beautiful woman became God. Now all you got to do is be beautiful, attractive, strong, smart, have charisma, and now you become gods now. And then the ones who don't see themselves as that begin to chase that and try to become that instead of going back to the image of the Most High in which we was originally created. All these young boys walking around in their neighborhoods with their pants, their drawers showing, is because they seen some ignorant Negro doing that. The reason why you see our women walk around with their butt out and their breast out and their thighs out and laying on their back and getting it popping and twerking is because they saw someone in who they feel they had given honor and celebrity status to doing that. Because the man and the woman became God instead of operating in the image of God in which they were. So instead of operating and honoring the image of honoring the Most High, man and woman became gods. And now either you walk in a diva, goddess, or God type mentality, or you idolize and walk and keep searching after that image. See how that happens? This was the demise of the male and female relationship. Watch this. Watch this. Verse 26.
For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. For even the women did change their natural use into that which is against nature.
You see that? That's what the introduction to lesbianism. Don't nobody acknowledge a beautiful woman more than other beautiful women, other women. If you got a beautiful woman, you can get men to do anything and women. And I'm ashamed to say this, but I know this for a fact. It's a Sabbath. I won't profane the Sabbath. But back in the day, in my worldly stupidity, idiotic ways, I capitalized on this severely. You understand? This is the beginning of how it happened. That original purpose, remember? Man was created and to do all these things and then provide for the woman to help me that was created. But once man went away from the Most High, look at how look what the woman led into. First, men and women became gods. And read that again, verse 25, verse 26.
For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections.
Gave them up unto vile affections.
For even their women did change their natural use into that which is against nature.
You see that? And look at verse 27.
And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman.
Leaving the natural use of the woman.
Burning their lusts one toward another. Men with men, working that which is unseemly.
Working that which is unseemly. You see how that happened? It didn't happen overnight, ladies and gentlemen. This was a gradual downgrade. All of these things are connected. So when I see a pastor, when I see a homosexual say to me that the Bible doesn't talk about it in the New Testament, I'm like, what Bible are you reading? Grace ain't covering that. This is the demise. The two enemies unto what we saw in Genesis 2 and 24. That was the future prophecy, the future blueprint that a man shall leave his mother and father. That's why I pointed out there that notice Adam did not have a mother and father. So it couldn't have been talking about Adam. This was the design that the Most High wanted for his family. You understand? And as a result of that, the male and female relationship is demise. This is how you have women walking around talking about that they home girls is dudes. This is how you can turn on modeling shows and see men up there judging the women on how to catwalk. This is how you have men, homosexual men, taking over the fashion now. Read it again, verse 27. 28, Salaki. 27.
And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lusts one toward another, men with men.
Men with men.
Working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of the error which was made.
You see that? Watch this, verse 28.
And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind.
He said, you know what? Since you don't want me in your mind, I'm going to give you up to it. I'm no longer sending my spirit to talk to you no more. What else?
To do those things which are not convenient.
You see, convenient. You're right.
Convenient. Yeah.
You know, so now the Most High said, you know what? Since you don't want to acknowledge me because Every day you wake up in the morning and hear the birds chirping, the sun rising, and the clouds moving, and the way the animals operate, you know what it's supposed to be. So since you don't know that, since you don't want that, since you don't want to acknowledge that, I'll give you up to it. And this is why the world is the way it is now. Watch this. And this is, I don't want people to think we just talk about homosexuals. This is everything. All of it. Watch this. Verse 29.
Being filled with all unrighteousness.
Being what?
Being filled with all unrighteousness.
Being filled with all unrighteousness. Go ahead.
Fornication.
Wickedness.
Covetousness.
Uh-huh.
Maliciousness.
Uh-huh.
Full of envy.
Full of envy.
Murder. Debate. Deceit.
Right.
Malignity. Whisperers.
Uh-huh.
Backbiters.
Right.
Haters of God.
Haters of the Most High.
Despiteful. Proud. Boasters. Inventors of evil.
Inventors of evil things.
Disobedient to parents.
Disobedient to parents.
Without understanding.
Right.
Covenant breakers. Without natural affection.
Right.
Implacable. Unmerciful.
You see that? All of the things of the world. And in the middle of it is the man on one side and the woman on the other. See that? That greatest enemy to that original blueprint of man leaving father and mother, cleaving to his wife, and becoming one flesh. Sexual immorality. Because once sexual immorality came in and homosexuality was accepted, all of these other things came from behind the closet, came from behind the curtain. Read that last verse, verse 32.
Who knowing that the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only to do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
They know what the law says according to that. That's what Paul is saying here. They know, because he talking about Israel here. I wanted to point that out again. We're not talking about Gentiles. He know. That's why he's writing this and saying, they know that these actions are worthy of death. Not only are they doing it anyway, but they're having pleasure in it. See that? Now let me show you the other way. Our demise of the male and female relationships. Let's go to Matthew 19. Watch this. Watch this. Matthew 19. And if y'all not getting the picture yet, let me go ahead and put it out there before we get to this. These are the two major things that the Christian church have accepted. Because once before, it wasn't a floodgate of these things. Once the Christian church started screaming grace call for these actions, look at the communities now. Look at male and female relationships now. Look at us now. When the Christian church said, it's okay. You don't got to worry about the law. You think that would be going on? Any of these things? If the law was coming out every week in these churches? Wouldn't happen. But God is love. Jesus love you. Yeah, that white Jesus do love you all the way to hell. He's going to be there waiting on you. But not Hamashiach. That's not what he wants. That is not the guy. And as long as you keep following that white Jesus, you will never follow this. Because that white Jesus won't never tell you this. He's going to tell you he loves you. His words are smoother than butter. That same white Jesus showed up to the West Coast and South Coast, the West and South Africa. What did he do there? That same white Jesus showed up on the coast of North and South America. What did he do there? That same cross showed up in the tribes that was all over America. What did he do there? And that same white Jesus is doing the same thing in our neighborhoods, killing and raping and murdering, genocide. You better wake up, man. Watch this. Matthew 19. Let me show you what a Mashiach said. Now, white Jesus is got a whole nother view on what we about to bring out here. Let me show you what a Mashiach said. Matthew 19. Let's look at verse 3.
The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?
He said, for what?
For every cause.
For every cause. Watch this. Verse 4.
And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not read that which made them at the beginning, made them male and female?
Notice the Most High went straight to. Went straight to it. I mean, Skalaki, what Yeshua went to. What the original plan was in the beginning. No, you're not. What the Most High made in the original. You talking about the law. Let me talk about what he said before the law. Watch this. Verse 5.
And said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall become one flesh.
He quoted Genesis 2 and 24 to him, something they should have knew. Watch this, verse 6.
Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh.
That means they're no more two, but now they're one. Go ahead.
What therefore God has joined together, let no man put asunder.
You see that? But this is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. What we're seeing going on today, the Most High ain't putting together. We have to realize and come to the understanding that what the world don't want to acknowledge is there was no such thing as marriage until the Most High created it. Therefore, the world don't have the right to come in and do a remix to what marriage is. Well, a man who say I'm a woman can marry a man, or marry a woman who says they're a man. What is pansexual? What is that? What Bible verse is that? Where two men can say, you know what, we stand in the holy matrimony. Holy to who? Not only that, but you could just see a woman and she got this type of job and you got this type of job. So you say, you know what? Hey, let's get married. Let's be a power couple. You ain't included Most High in the equation at all. Or let's shack for 10 years and let's do it right now. Let me make an honest woman out of her. Most High ain't in that. But watch this. Verse 7.
They say unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away?
He said, well, then listen. Then they try to come with the tricks. Well, Moses, in the law, he said you can be divorced. But notice that they said you can divorce for any reason. That was the original conversation. Just like all devils, let's switch the conversation to something else now. Right? Look at how Hamashiach dealt with it. Verse 8.
And he said unto them, Moses, because the hardness of your hearts suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. That was not the reason. He had to do that because if he wouldn't, he'd have been finding women behind rocks all over the wilderness. That's why that was put in there. Because as I always about to point out, you notice, especially with the Gentiles, when their relationship comes to an end, somebody dies. And it don't got to be money involved. I'm ready to move on. Somebody get poisoned.
Somebody have a car accident. A hitman is hired. And it'll be nothing malicious wrong with just, I'm ready to move on. And the Most High knew that was going to be the same way with his people. So that's why he entered a divorce. But he said that was not the original plan in the beginning. Watch this. Verse 9.
But I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committed adultery.
Is that what white Jesus teaching in the Christian church? The only reason that we're supposed to be getting divorces, the only reason, if your husband or your wife committed adultery. Other than that, you're supposed to be staying together. Is that what they're teaching in the church? So, go ahead and refinish it out, Deep.
And except before fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery.
So that means if you go out and marry a woman that's divorced for any other reason than that, you and her are committing adultery all the days of your lives. That's what white Jesus is saying is okay because grace. That ain't what a Mashiach said. Go ahead.
And whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery.
You see that? So what happened, ladies and gentlemen? When the church took on sexual immorality and divorce, this was the final straw to the demise of the male and female relationship. You see how that was? You see that? Because now, all I see that woman is sexual pleasure for me. All I see that man is for sexual or physical or emotional pleasure for me. And I'm going to do whatever I want to because I don't care what God says. It's my thing. I can do what I want to do.
If I get tired, I can leave.
If I get tired, I can leave and go to church and scream, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. This is the demise of the male and female relationship. Now everybody's enemies. Because they're doing that to everybody. You come into a relationship and that guy has another agenda and she got another agenda. And now you got to go into every relationship like this now because you don't know. You don't know. This is what happens. Now, I want to spend this last little bit of time, matter of fact, D, let's go to Proverbs 18. I do need to bring this out. Matter of fact, no. Put Deuteronomy 12. Put Deuteronomy 12, those verses in Proverbs 18. Put those verses in there. And I'm gonna give y'all that for a Sabbath reading tomorrow. When you go to Deuteronomy 12, you're going to see on that the Most High told us to not take on the ways of the Gentiles, that we cannot apply the things of the Gentiles to our lives. In Proverbs 18, you're going to see there's some wisdom. You're going to see some wisdom on how to carry out things as far as relationships are concerned. Depending on the time here, I may circle back to Proverbs 18 before it's over with. But I do need to bring out the restructure of this thing because it's very important. So let's go to first. Let's go to 1 Peter 3. Now we're going to deal with the woman. Let's build the woman back up. Let's go to 1 Peter 3. Then we're going to deal with the man. Now, as I said before, y'all, what we're going to be doing here is in this rebuilding process. Even though we're going to be talking about the marriage, but I'm going to be implementing things about regular relationships as well, because as I want to keep stating that you're going to need men for more than just as a husband. Men, you're going to need women for more things as a wife. We need healthy relationships with each other to build our nation. We need this. This is vital. I need to be able to go and operate with my sister and my wife not thinking, oh yeah, there's something going on here. My wife need to be able to go and operate with the brothers and do some things, build some things, to connect some things without me having to consider, oh yo, what's going on with that? Then at the same time, before you even become into a relationship and an agreement with a male or a female, you need to be able to operate in this life in your singlehood, doing the work of the Most High, and be able to do things and carrying out the gospel and carrying out the purpose and carrying out the rebuilding of our nation, and not be so caught up every time something happens because you're attracted to this person, or you find this person wise, or oh man, his precept game is hot, or man, look at her body. You got to be able to see things. You got to see her as your sister. You got to see him as your brother. You got to see these. You got to see each other as a nation. We cannot operate like we was doing before. We have a call to build our nation. And more importantly, this is what me and my queen was talking about the other day, is that our children are watching. What we are going to be doing is we're going to be teaching our children the same way. Therefore, your children need to see, yo, every young girl that come across your way, son, you don't need to be trying to holler at her. Treat her as your sister. And then you teach your daughters the same way. We need each other. You understand? We need each other. Now, let's go to 1 Peter 3. Let's work on the women, and then we're going to work on the men. I'm going to show you some things that is very important here. 1 Peter 3, and let's start that verse at verse 1.
Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husband.
You said what?
Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husband.
No, be in subjection to your elder.
Be in subjection to your own husband.
Be in subjection to your sugar daddy.
Be in subjection to your own husband.
Now, be in subjection to your baby daddy.
Be in subjection to your own husband.
Now, be in subjection to the man who giving you money every now and then.
Be in subjection to your own husband.
Be in subjection to her husband because you like the way her husband carry out things.
Be in subjection to your own husband.
Be in subjection unto your own husband. You understand? Not your elder. I want to put this out here because some of you that are in the truth now, some of you women that are in the truth right now, your man may not be there yet. Your elder is not over your house. Your husband is. I need to put that out there. I'm telling you right now, I've been doing this for years. When a woman is married and she comes to me, I'm going to send her right back to her husband every time. Do not go back to your husband saying, pastor said, elder said. Don't do that. Well, I was talking to Deacon the other day, and Deacon was giving me, no, Jay, you want to bring your name up? Don't.
Please don't bring my name up.
Okay? If you bringing something out that we bringing on the Sabbath, you say the Bible says. Don't say elder said, don't say deacon said. Okay? Be in subjection to your own husband. Go ahead.
That if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wise.
Now, I want to bring something out here because Satan is using feminism to convince women to follow the pattern of whoremongers. And this is very disturbing to me, right? So, read that last part, D. Read that last part, what he said.
If any obey not the word.
So if you got a husband that don't obey the word,
they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wise.
See, what is happening is, ladies, see, let me put this out here too. I know that you watch your mothers and your grandmothers in the church, with your fathers and your uncles and grandfathers, and you watch grandma and auntie them go to church all the years, and daddy and Uncle Joe and grandpa drink and be wild and disrespectful all these years, and you told yourself, well, you know, that ain't gonna be me. I ain't sitting around waiting on no man to be right. I'll be single, I'll do me. I understand. I'm not insensitive to that. But what I hope and pray is what you learn from your mama, your grandma, your auntie is not to marry a man that's like that. Okay. That's hustling backwards. Those women did the best they could with the situation that they was in. What I'm trying to get across to you is what we started out at the beginning, that the head of every man is Christ. If that man is not submitted to Hamashiach, you should never submit to him. If that man is not submitted to Hamashiach, you should never even be friends with him. That man ain't submitted to Hamashiach, there is no phone conversations. There is no texting. There is no nothing. So you can prevent yourself from getting in this situation from the beginning. But if you are in that situation, you got to stop letting these women of the world talk you into being whoremongers. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing. I don't got too much good to say about Tyler Perry at all. His movies are wicked. His TV shows is wicked. The spirit that he operates is wicked. But there's one movie that Tyler Perry has made that I think deserves some form of applause. And that's that movie Temptation. Because that movie is basically showing what is happening to a lot of our sisters. I would dare say happening to a lot of women, period. Whether they be Israelite or Gentile. Feminism and this woman empowerment stuff is telling women you can be men and whores and they can get away with it and you should be able to do it too and not be judged. That's foolishness. Okay? Well, if you're going to pattern your life off of any man, let it be Hamashiach. Okay? Well, my man ain't acting right. He doing this and doing that, but I'm going to go out and do me until he get right. No. Because why are you going to hurt yourself with the Most High because you're being hurt? Well, I ain't doing nothing until he get right. No. Well, I ain't been, what about Sadiq? Oh, I thought you about to say, well, I ain't being nice no more. Let me get Galatians 6 and 9. I cringe when I hear women say that no more. Like, I ain't being good to another man. No, the problem is you was good to a boy. You never had a man. Let's just be real about it. You never been with a man. You don't know what a man is. You understand? And women trying to be men, you are destroying yourselves. You are destroying yourselves. You're only bringing yourself more pain, suffering. And the worst thing you can do, ladies, is allow a no good, no deserving Negro to make you lose who you are. That beautiful spirit that you have, that great outgoing personality, that smile that you have, should never, ever be lost because of some wicked dude. Let me get that Galatians 6 and 9.
Let us not be weary in well-doing.
Let us not be weary in well-doing.
For in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
You're going to reap, ladies, if you faint not. You don't stop being good. You stop being good to people who don't deserve your goodness. You understand? You stop allowing these no good dudes in your life based on loneliness. And I'm going to tell you another thing. This is the Spirit of the Lord told me to say this. This is not what I was intending to say. But you need to stop with all these emotional affairs that you're having. Cut out that madness. These emotional affairs are destroying so many women. Sit on the couch with your husband, sit at the table with your boyfriend, Facebooking and Instagram and texting some man who gassing you up, telling you how beautiful you is and how funny you is and laughing and doing all this stuff. Stop with the emotional affairs. Because it's going to lead to physical sex eventually. You can lie to yourself and say that's all it is. It's going to be one day where you're going to be really upset and you're going to be off your guard and you're going to find yourself laying in a hotel. You're going to find yourself in the backup seat of somebody's car. You're too good for that. You're queen of the Most High. You understand? Separate if you need to be. Walk away. Work on some things. Get you some side things and go back to your mama house or move in with one of your sisters for a minute and have those tough conversations with the man or the husband that you're with, you know, that you didn't have in the beginning, that you should have had in the beginning. But you better cut these emotional affairs out. Because it's only hurting you. It ain't helping you. Let's read that again, D. First back to 1 Peter 3:7. 3:1.
Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husband.
Be in subjection to your own husband.
That if any obey not the word.
So if he obey not the Most High's word.
They also may without the word be warned by the conversation of the wife.
And this is the same way that you need to do this when you're dealing with your homeboys. But not be in subjection to them. Not looking at them as a potential person. You walk in holiness on your job. You walk in righteousness on your job. And then what happens is, I'm going to show you that in a minute. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Go ahead. Matter of fact, I need to do that. Matter of fact, I need to do that. Listen. The Most High just brought me back to something. I forgot about this. A godly, holy woman who stands her ground and never compromises has the power to transform a nation. Listen, our nation, our communities have become engulfed in wickedness, and we got to be real about it. It's because some of the most beautiful women that we have are some of the most wicked women you ever seen. You understand? And I'm not finna get into this name calling. You know who they are. And they have all of the women, the young girls, looking to that. You have all the men wanting to be with her. But a beautiful, righteous, holy woman has the ability to transform a nation. I remember when we was down at the James 1-1 conference, and Elder Demetrius' wife, some of y'all may know Elder Demetrius, wife Sweetie Pie, was talking about how initially she fought the modest apparel, wrapping in the hair, wearing the dresses and all that. She was like, that's not me. I don't get down like that. She said, but Elder never forced her to start dressing like, and never forced her to become that. But she says as he began to teach her, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, about the men teaching the women, as the more he taught her, she embraced it. And she said she started wrapping her hair and started wearing that modest apparel. She said when she went out, men and women just looked at her like royalty. They would tell her how beautiful she was, how elegant she was, when she was never getting those compliments. Men was holding doors for her, and women was like in awe of her. That's what happens when you walk in who you really are. Now, go back to Genesis 2. I need to show them something there. I want to make sure I bring this all together. So, yes, a man is the head, ladies. Yes, they are the head. But you are the neck in which which will turn that man in the right direction. If you are the shining light. Watch that. Genesis 2:18. Read that again.
And the Lord said, it is not good that the man should be alone.
Right.
I will make him an helpmeet for him.
Mm-hmm. Now, so that's all I want to do. So what you got to understand, ladies, either you will be help and make that brother's life You would improve his life, or you would help destroy his life. And I'm going to show you this. Watch this. I'm going to prove this with precepts. Let's go to Genesis 20, Sirach 25. Watch this. Now, we go there again. I'm going to read this again. I want to take my time here because I want to just show you how important you are, ladies, and what you can do to change our nation. It says in 1 Peter 3:1, it says, if he obey not the word, so if you come across a homeboy that's not obeying the word, they also without be warned by the conversation and the life that you're living. Watch that. Watch this. Sirach 25 and deep bring out verse 23 and 24. Watch this right here, y'all. Watch this. Now remember, we read in Genesis 2 and 14 says that man, the Most High wanted man to have a helpmeet. Watch this. Sirach 25 and 23. Watch this.
A wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh an heavy countenance, and a wounded heart.
So a woman that's wicked, a woman that's evil, a woman that's ungodly does what?
Abateth the courage,
takes away the man's courage,
maketh a heavy countenance,
and giveth him an heavy countenance,
and a wounded heart.
And a wounded heart. Either you will destroy him, or you will finish him. Go ahead.
A woman that will not comfort her husband is in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees.
You will destroy him. So some of you ladies that got men that right now is not fully submitted to the Most High, you're the reason that he ain't got there. Because you all the time telling him how terrible he is, how wicked he is, how ugly he is, how fat he is, how broke he is. You understand? And give me that verse 24.
Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die.
Was not Eve the one that was deceived? Let me build upon that even more. But notice how a wicked woman would break it down. Now go to Sirach 20, go to Sirach 36. Watch this. Go to Sirach 36 and look at verse 22 to 23. Watch this.
The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance, and a man loveth nothing better.
Notice now. Now, when she was wicked, even though she was fine, she brought heavy countenance, but now what?
The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance.
But now it cheereth his countenance.
And a man loveth nothing better.
So what happens is, some of you like, you know what? I ain't dressing up for the man. He don't deserve it. I ain't put on nothing, appealing and sexy and sensual for him. He don't deserve it. I ain't cooking him no nice meal. He don't deserve it. I ain't fixing my hair nice for him. He don't deserve it. You don't even understand. By becoming your best, you make him better. And watch this. Verse 25.
If there be kindness,
but if there be kindness, meekness,
and comfort
in her tongue,
is not her husband like other men.
Then that man becomes greater than any other man around. You got the power, made differently, to operate together. You see that? You got to understand, you're made differently. To be able to operate with this man is made differently than you. And you got to take on your attributes and not use it against him. Use it for him. You understand? Now, let's go back to 1 Peter 3. Let's round this on out. Verse 2.
While they behold your chaste conversations coupled with fear, whose adorning let it not be the outward adorning of plaiting the hair, and of wearing of gold, or of putting on apparel.
Now, so the people that are in the holiness denomination and certain Pentecostal denominations and strict, denominations of Christianity will look at this right here and say, a woman ain't supposed to be doing this. That's not what Peter was saying. That's not what Peter was saying. Peter said what he was saying was he's going to explain himself in the next verse. A lot of people just go to this one verse and say, you ain't supposed to be doing your hair like that. You ain't supposed to be wearing earrings and makeup and all that. That's not what he's saying. What he's saying is, don't let that be all that you bring to the table. That's why I went to Sirach and showed you that, yeah, your beauty can bring up his countenance, but you add all the other great things, it what changes him eternally. And watch what he says here. Verse 4.
Well, let it be the hidden man of the heart.
Let it be the hidden in the side.
That which is not corruptible.
Right.
Even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price.
That's what the Most High considers greatness. Now let's prove that, D. Let's go to Proverbs 31. I just want to give y'all some precepts on these things to help you out here. Watch this thing. Proverbs 31. Watch this. Watch this. Proverbs 31. And give me 27 through 30.
She looketh well to the ways of her household,
right?
And eateth not the bread of idleness.
She eateth not the bread of idleness.
Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her.
Right.
Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all.
Right.
Favor is deceitful.
Favor is deceitful. Yeah, you might have some favor with him.
And beauty is vain.
Beauty is vain.
But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised.
You see that? You see that? You got the power, ladies. You're made differently to operate together. You must take the differences in which you were made and make the men of our nation better. You understand? Watch this. Watch this. Now let's go back to 1 Peter 3 and give them that last verse. Verse 6. No, verse 5. So lucky.
For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in God adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands.
Right.
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are,
as long
as ye do well, and not afraid with any amazement.
You see that? Now, we're not getting into this whole thing. I've seen some camps out there that got their women calling their husbands Lord. Hey, that's for them. But you don't got to do that. But you have to honor your husband in the same way that Sarah honored Abraham. Now, made differently to operate together. Now, let's go to the men. Let's go to Ephesians 5. Right? Watch this. Ephesians 5. And let's go to verse 25 through 29. Talk to the men here. All right. Watch this.
Husbands, love your wives, even as Hamashiach also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Now, notice that when Paul talked to the women, what the commandment was to submit. Right? Notice the commandment to the men was to do what?
Husbands, love your wives.
So the commandments is two different things here. How did these things get off? Right? Well, let's look at it from the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning. Remember, Eve was made to be a helpmeet for Adam. And as soon as he saw her, he says, thou art flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. Right? Now go to Genesis 3. And let's see how this happened. When the change happened. Watch this. I want in the notes. This is something the Most High is bringing out here right now. Watch this. Read verse 10 through 12.
And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself.
So what happened when sin came in? Once sin entered into the man's heart, he no longer seen himself in the glorious image of the Most High. Now he saw himself based on whatever he saw in the physical. Sounds familiar? Now, our men do not see themselves in the image of the Most High. They don't see themselves as sons of the Most High. They see themselves based on what is in their bank accounts, how they look physically, what kind of car they drive, what kind of house they have. But before, when Adam was given all these things by the Most High, he didn't allow any of those things to play on on his perception of who he was. It was normal to him. But now, in a sin conscience, he now sees himself outside of that, uncovered. Look at what he says, verse 11.
And he said, who told thee thou was naked?
The Most High said, who told you was naked? I never told you that. Now he done went to seeing himself based on the physical, and when he hears the Most High voice, he runs. Do you think before sin entered into it that he was ever running from the Most High? No. And men now will not go to the Most High because of how they see themselves. You see that? But this is what I need you to see here. He said, who told you naked? And what did he say?
Hast thou eaten of the tree whereas I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat?
So the Most High gave him an opportunity to hold himself accountable for what he did. Because remember, for those who was on in the beginning, the commandment of what to do and what not to do was never given to Eve. It was given to man. And look at what his response was. Verse 12.
And the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to
The
me.
woman and whom thou gavest me. What did he say?
The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
She went from being the greatest thing ever given when he said, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone, to the one that deceived me. See that? See how that happens? That's the reason why now man had to be commanded to love her. And the same reason why women had to be commanded to submit. You see that? Made differently to operate together. It comes naturally for a woman to love, but it doesn't come naturally to submit to a man. It comes naturally for a man to submit to a woman that he loves. Man don't have to be told to love his mama. Man don't have to be told to love his sister. Man don't have to be told to love his aunties. He will ride or die for those women. But for any other women, he sees them as an enemy, as competition. Men see women and other men as something to conquer because men are conquerors. You understand? They're conquerors. So when it comes to men and women, other men and women, they see them as who they have to conquer and control. Not necessarily maliciously or negatively, but they understand in their mind, the way we perceive things, if I don't conquer and control this man, he will conquer and control me. Right? And that's how they see women. If I don't conquer and control her, she will control me. Because whatever your mama tell you to do, you're going to do. Our sisters get on our nerves, but whatever they say, we're going to listen to. We don't have to be taught that. We love our mamas and our sisters easily, but with the other women, we're always standoffish. Because of what Adam said. That woman that you gave me deceived me. When you deceived yourself, brother, because you wanted to do it the whole time. And men are going into these relationships You understand? With that guard up the whole time. Some men live their entire lives married to a woman with their guard up. The entire time. Never fully giving themselves to a woman. You understand? Some men, I'm talking about entire lives, guard up. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Sleeping with one eye open. Never fully giving themselves to any woman, especially for those who got hurt early in their early years. You got your heart broke as a teenager or a young adult, that man's done. He's finished. He don't want to hear anything. This is why Paul says in Colossians 3:19, husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them. Because some of the experiences that men, or negative experiences that men had coming into relationship with women, they bring all of that into it. So every lie, every con, every broken heart or broken promise, they bring it into the next one. Oh, you telling me this because you want to do this. You're telling me because you're going to do this. Because the same what Adam said. This woman that you gave me. You understand? Watch this. Now this is what I need you to see here. I have discovered that some men cheat on their wives and the women that they're with. It's not so much because they're wicked. It's because they are afraid. Over the years, through different counsels and conversations that I've had with men, I found I peeled through the layers, just asking these tough questions, and I've discovered that many men are cheaters because they are afraid. They are afraid. They are afraid to be fully engulfed in a relationship, 100% of something that they feel like could end at any moment, at any time. A woman will meet a man, and in 2 weeks, if he say the right thing and do the right thing, she's gone. A man could be there 20 years and be just getting invested. That's the reality of how we made. And it all goes back to what Adam did. You understand? Watch this. Now, reread verse 25 again. Back in Ephesians 5:25. I want to show y'all something. This is very key here for the men here.
Husbands, love your wives.
Husband loves your wives.
Even as Hamashiach also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Now, let me show you this. Because Hamashiach has to be the model when it comes to the wedding, when it comes to the marriage. Let me show you this. Let's go to John 12. Remember, I just talked about that fear, right? That fear, that uneasiness, right? That men deal with, and it affects their relationships. It affects their decision making. Most High said we must love our wives as Christ loved the church. Man, let me help you with this right here. Let me show you something. That this is the mindset you're going to have in carrying this commandment out. John 12, and bring out verse 27 through 28. Watch this.
Now is my soul troubled. What shall I say?
Now, listen, men, I know that we are logical creatures. So we always are our minds are always going to be on every scenario. Okay? We're going to look at A plus B plus C. Then we're going to look at A plus C equals B. Then we're going to look at B plus C equals A. You know, we're going to look at all of it. And sometimes with everything that is on our plate, we're providing for our women, providing for our children, being the leaders in our family, being the leaders in our community. Read that again. He says what?
Now is my soul troubled, and what shall I say?
Now my soul is troubled. What shall I say? This is what Hamashiach had when he knew was going through when it was time to do what he needed to do for the church. Remember, Ephesians 5:25 says, you still got that deep. Read that again, what he said. I want y'all to see this before I bring this all the way home. Look what he said.
Husbands, love your wives.
Husband loves your wives.
Even as Hamashiach loved the church and gave himself for it.
And gave himself for it. Right? Now I read John 12:27 and look at this, what he said.
Now is my soul troubled, and what shall I say?
What shall I say?
Father, save me from this hour, for this cause came out unto this hour.
This is what you have to do, man. You have to look at this as from this perspective, the same way Hamashiach said. I don't want to have to go through this sacrifice. I don't want to have to go through this turmoil. I don't want to have to take all of this on, but this is the reason that I was created. To honor this woman, to love this woman, and to raise this family, to rebuild my nation is why I'm here. And I can't ask the Most High to take me out of this. Yeah, you're going to be scared. Yeah, you're going to be overwhelmed. But you should never, ever, ever look for a way out. And this is what will happen as a result. Verse 28.
Father, glorify thy name.
Father, glorify thy name. Your whole drive, everything in you, should be to bring glory to the name of the Most High higher. And the way you're going to bring glory is by loving your wife, giving up every desire, every lust, everything you want to do for your wife. Everything. Everything. Everything that's inside of you is pulling you away from the Most High has to go. And that's why Hamashiach, in the midst of the turmoil, when he was about to do for the church, what did he say?
Father, glorify thy name.
Father, glorify thy name.
Then came there a voice from heaven saying,
What did he say?
I have both glorified it and I will glorify it again.
And that's the same thing the Most High will do for you. When you make that stand in the midst of those bills, when you make that stance in the midst of the woman coming at you, talking crazy, don't understand what you're doing, in the midst of the people on your job, in the midst of what we're dealing with in this work, this country, in the midst of all of the things, and the children going astray, everything that you have to deal with, if you stand and say your name be glorified, what are the Most High going to say to you?
I have both glorified it and will glorify it again.
And he will glorify it again in you when you keep going forward. Made differently to operate together. You understand? Watch this. Now back to Ephesians 5. Watch this. And give him the verse 26 there.
That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of the water by the word.
You see that? So what happens, ladies and gentlemen, it's the same way when you see in John 15, when Hamashiach told his disciples, you're clean now by the washing of the word. This is the way you teach your wife. By not only talking it, by living it. If Adam would have been constantly going over the commandment with Eve, Eve would have never broke that commandment. He would have never broke that commandment. The responsibility always comes back to the man. And that's why we start out in 1 Peter 3:7. That if you do not treat her as an equal heir, honoring and loving her as your equal, the prayers of the family will be hindered. No matter what she's saying, no matter how she's going off, no matter how much you don't want to submit, your job is to love as Christ loved the church. And that goes in the same way when you're dealing with your sisters in the community. You got to love them the same way. You got to treat them with the same honor. You got to approach them with the same level of respect. You understand? Watch this. Verse 27.
That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish.
You see that? So once you do these things and love your child and love your family, you're going to be able to present them to the Most High blameless. It's going to be all on you, though. What are you teaching the young girls in your community? I mean, really, think about it, brothers. Our brothers do all this conversation talking about, man, these girls are old, man, these girls doing this. What are you doing to them? What are you saying to them? Are you talking to them like that when you see them in the hood? Are you treating them like princes and queens? Are you acting and treating them just like everybody else? Do every compliment you say have an agenda? Is every kind word followed by what's good? What are you doing? What are you doing to help build up the ladies in your community? To encourage them? Are you using and abusing just like everybody else? Use your kingship to show a princess how to become a queen. You understand? Watch this. Verse 28.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
If you don't love your wife, it's proof that you don't love yourself. It's proof that you don't have any love for yourself. Because you know fully that by loving her, you're going to bring life to yourself. Let me get that Sirach 26, D. Let me get that Sirach 26. Watch this. Right? Yeah, go ahead. Bring that out.
Blessed is the man that has a virtuous wife.
Blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife.
For the number of his days shall be doubled.
You see that? So why would you not want to have a virtuous woman? You know that actually shorten your days, right? You know that actually brings down your life, right? You understand that? That hurts you. That ain't doing you no good to bring on a girl that's about that life. That ain't helping you. Give them that Sirach 9:1, D. This is what happens. When you out here training your girls to drink. When you out there training them to smoke loud. When you teaching them to hustle. When you teaching them to do the things of the world. Just because it's going to please them with you. When you talking about them, you know what, baby, you know what to do, you know what will spark up your life. You know, we bring another woman into the house. So, you know what I'm saying, spark up the sex. Like, just do it for daddy. Sirach 9:1.
Be not jealous of the wife of thy bosom. And teach her not an evil lesson against thyself.
Teach her not an evil lesson against thyself. No woman becomes wicked without a wicked man teaching her to be wicked. At the end of the day, all roads lead back to a wicked man. So you can spend all day talking about what women are doing, and at the end of every road is a wicked man standing there with a grin on his face. You understand? Read that again, Deke, verse 28, and back in Ephesians.
So ought men to love their wives as their own body.
Right.
He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourished and cherished it, even as the Lord the church. Right.
Now, let's end off with this, D. Let's go to Sirach 6. And put that Sirach 19 in there, 1 through 24. That's another reading assignment for you guys for tomorrow. I wanted to get to that, but time done ran out on us. And I want to end off in Sirach 6, because I want to give some practical wisdom for just regular relationships. I want to end off on this right here. Let's go to Sirach 6, and this is going to help us right here for relationships as far as men, women is concerned, dealing with each other. This is going to help us be able to start looking at each other in the manner that we need to look at each other, in a more positive manner that we can. Let's go to Sirach 6. We're going to end off on this tonight. Sirach 6, let's go verse 1.
Instead of a friend, become not an enemy.
Read that again.
Instead of a friend, become not an enemy.
Right?
For thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that have a double tongue.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to be friends with everybody. Okay? That's where the mistake that we're making. Okay? Instead of being a friend, just don't be an enemy. You don't got to sit down at the table. And I know this, especially now that we're in the truth now, and you come across people that, you know what I'm saying, that you know in the truth, and whatever the case may be, and this excites you and makes you feel good. And when you come across somebody, shalom, shalom, and all this. But read that again, what he said.
Instead of a friend, become not an enemy.
Listen, just because you have some things in common, there's some form of attraction going on there, whatever the case may be, you don't necessarily make them a friend. Just focus on being not an enemy. Why?
For thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name.
So that's what happens a lot of times, is because when you start connecting to any and everybody, that people are not where you are not going where you're going, you bring on an ill name with you. And ladies, and you know for yourself, this is one of the most difficult things for you guys to get over is your past. It's because people want to hold you, you know, all that whole saying, birds of a feather flock together, but that's true a lot of times, but it's not always true. But that's what people are going to assume. And if you're waiting on the King of the Most High to come and be with you, but your friends don't look that way, and that's who they send you with, no, that's not going to be what they want. Same thing for you, brother. You know, no, it ain't gonna work that way. You know what I'm saying? So just don't worry about being friends with everybody. Just don't be an enemy. Verse 2.
Extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull strangled low.
I remember back in the day, this is several years ago, when I used to stay in Winston-Salem, I had an event, right? And I brought this group to my event, and then I brought this other group to my event. And one of the persons in the group hit me up after there and said, yo, I've been talking to this other person that's in this other group. I said, well, that's what's up. And, you know, they were talking about how they had some certain things in common. And you know, I just love the fact, you know, this person is a worshiper. And I love the fact that this person is doing this and doing that. I was like, all praise, all day, this is what's up, right? And then this person said, but, you know, one of the things that, you know, we done had a few conversations, and we just friends right now. We ain't talking about being together, but that person's already talking about how, you know, I've only been knowing them for a couple of weeks, and, you know, and they telling me how they love sex, and they you know, they still dealing with, you know, not fornicating. And, you know, I've been celibate for a while. What do you think about that? Run as fast as you can. That's what I said. But I feel in my heart that I can help this person. Read that again.
Extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart.
And so what happened as a result of the person falling on heart, 4 children later, that person is still dealing with that same person. Not married, still on their own. And this is what's going on a lot. Because you're living on the counsel of your own heart. And you're refusing wise counsel because it's going to go against what you only desire for yourself. You're going to have to start allowing the truth to be the truth. Can't save everybody. You can't be friends with everybody. You got to be careful. Because what will end up happening, Deep? Verse 3?
Thou shalt eat up thy leaves.
You're going to eat up thy leaves.
And lose thy fruit, and leave thyself as a dry tree.
You know how many people right now are alone, bitter and upset, and the reason why they're alone, bitter and upset is because they destroyed every opportunity to have fruitful relationships with other people, chasing after unfruitful people. I'm putting this out here. 100% of the women that has came to me over the years of counseling, who talking about there's no good men, all men are dogs. It took me no longer than a 30, 45-minute conversation to trace them all the way back to their own mistakes and the people that they was talking to. Never holding themselves accountable each step of the way. Same thing with men. You see what I'm saying? So what happens is when you don't do these things, you trying to be friends with everybody and connect with everybody and hang with everybody. What happens is the people, the righteous people and the productive people that the Most High has around your life, you eat them lines up and you're done. Now you're like a bull straying by itself, alone. Watch this, verse 4.
A wicked soul shall destroy him that has it.
Read that again.
A wicked soul shall destroy him that has it.
A wicked soul will destroy you. Got to be careful. Many of you right now, many of your problems is centered around you. Your lifestyle, your mentality, and your perception, your choices. Fix you, your life will fix itself. Be better, your life will be better. Some of you need to stop worrying about friends and relationships and finding a husband and finding a wife and need to find who you are in the Most High. Watch this, verse 5.
Sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greeting.
I want to say that specific to the ladies because some of you, as a result of what has happened to you, have become really sour. And I'm not being insensitive to what has happened, but I want to put this out here. Every man that says hello to you is not trying to be with you. Okay? Every man that says that you look nice today is not trying to have sex with you. Okay? Every man that says I want to get to know you does not necessarily mean that they're trying to be with you. So a lot of times you're walking with this closed, tight grip, like how see the women walking in cold and walking with their bags and walking up tight like this. Listen, you can't be like that. 1 John 4 said, "Test every spirit." But read that again. What he said.
A wicked soul shall
No. Verse 5.
I'm sorry. Sweet language will multiply friends.
Sweet language will multiply friends.
And a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greeting.
You see that? So listen, I know some bad things happen. I know you dealt with some wicked and evil people that have hurt you. But if you want these things to change, you're going to have to change. And you just start opening up a little bit. Smile, fix your hair, put on some brighter clothes and make yourself more appealing and appearing and open to people. Every brother, I promise you, every brother that's saying these things to you, they don't have an agenda. Every woman that is being kind to you is not trying to get something out of you. You understand? Some of them might need you, and you may need them. Some of these people that you're turning the evil eye to and frowning upon may be the person that have the blessing that you've been praying for months, for years. You understand? Verse 6.
Be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000.
Read that again, man.
Be in peace with many.
Listen. Be at peace with all those who are peaceable with you. Anybody that's cool and open and loving and got good hearts. Be peaceful with these people. But
one counselor of 1,000.
But wow, one counselor of 1,000. Stop posting your problems and your issues on social media. Stop it. Stop every time something happens, you start going through your phone and calling and telling everybody something that happened. Stop inviting people, everyone, into your circumstances. You cannot do that. You can have associates, you can be cool with a lot of people, but you cannot have everyone speaking into your life. You got to know the difference. Do you understand? Verse, where are we? Verse 7.
If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
Be not hasty to credit him. Listen, you got people becoming cool just because y'all done liked a couple of comments, a couple of posts on Facebook and had a couple of agreements. And y'all stood on a post a couple times together. Oh, that's my homegirl, man. Yeah, no, man, no. Well, this brother, man, I'm telling you, this brother, he be killing these all, boy. He be coming there with the dick down. He be slicing them all. That's my man's. Let me get to know the art. No. Read it again, D. This is what?
If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
Prove him first.
And be not hasty to credit him.
See, listen, I know the brother is texting you, you know what I'm saying, ladies? You know, he's saying he's a cool guy. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? He ain't looking for nobody right now. He ain't about no relationships. He's just trying to kick it and be cool. You know what I'm saying? And y'all done, text a few days over the last few weeks, and it's always, conversation is vibing, and y'all good. And now he's gotten to the point. Now he's texting you good morning in the morning, texting you good morning, and then checking on you. Hey, you straight? You good? That's fantastic. All praise. But don't be so quick to credit him as a good dude. Don't be so quick to do that. Just because a couple of months don't went by, a couple of weeks don't went by, and he ain't brought up sex, and he ain't brought... Listen. Sometimes it's long suffering. We sometimes, hey, we know, hey. Just be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Don't be so quick to credit them. Just because she cool with you and, she got your back at the job and, you know what I'm saying, she's standing with you on the job. No, don't be bringing her into your house. Especially if you got a man. Okay? Don't be so quick to credit them. Verse 8.
For some man, it is a friend for his own occasion.
Read that again.
For some man, it is a friend for his own occasion.
Because some people are a friend for their own occasion. They got their own agenda. Go ahead.
And will not abide in the day of trouble.
And they ain't going to be there when you really need them. Okay? So you got to be careful. Verse 9.
And there is a friend whom being turned to enemy and strife will discover thy reproach.
And see, this is what happens a lot of times because you're letting all these people into your life. You're letting them into your house. You're letting them all into your business. You're letting them all up into your relationships. And then, when the truth come out or something, you get a little disagreement and they become an enemy. Now they know your secrets. This is what's happening where you allow these dudes you thought was cool and y'all talking about we sexting because we cool like that and yeah, we sexting. And then now you ain't feeling each other and now all your pictures on social media. Okay? Be careful. Told you we was cool. Nah. Be careful. Watch this. Where we at, D? Verse 9?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 9?
And Galatians 10, sorry.
Yeah, verse 10, Salaki, verse 10.
Again, some friend is a companion at the table, and when I continue in thy in the day of the
Listen, while you're eating, while everything is good, while the money is flowing, some people gonna be rolling with you. When what Wayne said a long time, people will leave you when they say you out of mustard. The mustard's gone. I ain't got mustard today. What? Out. Be careful. Verse 11.
But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants.
But watch this.
If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face.
I'm telling you. Don't let all these people into your lives. Just be careful. But this is what I wanted to get to right here. Verse 13.
Separate thyself from thine enemies, and take heed of thy friends.
Right.
A faithful friend is a strong defense.
That's right.
And he that has found such a one has found a treasure.
If you got a friend, if you got a homeboy, ladies, if you got a homegirl, men, listen, you have a treasure. If you find a relationship where it can be strictly platonic and no one has an agenda, but they got your back, you have a treasure. You understand? You cannot just throw these things away like this. You cannot take them for granted. But this is the key thing right here. Watch this. Verse 15.
A faithful friend. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable.
It's invaluable. It's invaluable. You got to hold on to these things, man. Some of you right now are getting ready to go into new places and new levels of money and new opportunities. Don't leave these people that was with you from the beginning behind. You understand? Be careful with that, because you're not going to find that every day. And this is why. Verse 16.
A faithful friend is the medicine of life. And they that fear the Lord shall find
And
him.
they that what?
And they that fear the Lord shall find
And
him.
they that fear the Most High will find that friend, whether it be male or female. Watch this. Verse 16.
Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also.
You see that? So if you want to get these proper relationships, first, get a proper relationship with the Most High. You have a proper relationship with the Most High, you will have proper friendships. You have proper friendships, you will have a proper dating. You have proper dating, you will end up with the right man or woman. You get the right man or woman, you will build the right family. Right families will build the right communities. Right communities will build the right nation. Made differently to operate together. Now tonight I'd like to give all praise and honor to Ahia Bahashem Yeshaya, Rora Walk. And for those of you not familiar with the Hebrew, that is all praise unto the Most High, in the name of Christ as well as the Holy Spirit, for everything that took place here tonight. I pray and hope, ladies and gentlemen, that this word encouraged you tonight. I pray and hope that you allow the Most High to show you yourself, to just look in the mirror and begin to just take a real evaluation of what you've been doing, how you've been operating, and how you are treating the people that you come across in your life. It's time to get back to building our nation. But ladies and gentlemen, we cannot do this alone. We need each other. We need everybody. We need everybody. Ladies, you're going to need men. Men, you're going to need the women. We cannot do this alone. You got to understand that. So I hope and pray that everyone truly took an evaluation of what we're talking about here tonight. I hope and pray that we truly understand how vital this is, because there's ain't no way around it, man. We can't do this alone. Dick, you got anything, man? You got anything you want to bring out, man? As we always say, man, continue to be steadfast, continue to be unmovable, always abounding to the work of the Most High. I pray and hope for those who are with us tonight that you will join us this Sunday for our third edition of Soulful Sundays, where we're going to be talking about, are you frustrated with the church? If you have Christian friends, families, and loved ones, please, I'm begging you, bring them to this discussion. Because before we get into the Bible, we want to have an open discussion with the Christians. I wanted them to be open and honest. So we'll be putting up promotion for that tomorrow. Look out for that tomorrow. Please contact us and just let us know that we're here for you, that we love you, that we'll do anything for you. If you need any more clarification, any understanding, don't hesitate to hit us up. We pray and hope that you guys continue to enjoy your Sabbath. Seek the Most High, trust His Spirit, and know that all praise, all glory, all honor belongs to a higher, a sure, a higher. Shalom.
Ain't no excuse. Ain't no excuses. Ain't no excuses. Ain't no excuse.
And to my Israelite brothers and sisters, this is the motto. I ain't crying over spoiled milk. If you're not brewing, then you're not with us. All I did is fade away. That's great.
Put the beef in the freezer.
The side wakes up the steak.
Keep the solid, no flake. I'm sticking to it like tape. Peace of mind is my state. Super cool with no cape. Took her off, no escape. Diligence for no break.
Told her that's my homie.
Every flavor smell it on. I'm only here for the lost ones.
All praise to the Most High, my queen. As we always say, we love you. Know that we're praying for you. Barakathai, Kwam Yasharala, man. Know that we love you. Shalom. Ahaya told me be a light.